Good evening. Good evening. How you doing? This is Coach Carvel Bailey, and I want to welcome you to another episode of Life and Basketball. And here on this show is where we talk about how both the game of basketball as well as life are synergistic and how they have so much in common. And what we do on this show is we interview athletes, former athletes, coaches, former coaches, officials, former officials, as well as those individuals that have been very, very valuable to the game of basketball. And we let them share their story of how Little Orange basketball has helped change and oftentimes save their lives. And so they're doing the same thing in the way that they teach the game, the way that they go about the game of basketball as well as life. And so the show is being brought to you by Bless the Ball Skill Development Academy, where we help parents of unrecruited or under-recruited student athletes save money on college by helping them get the right fit for them. The show is also being brought to you by Understanding Life Through the Game of Basketball. This is where the show was birthed from, right? This is my first book. This is my baby here. The show was birthed from this book because this is how I was taught the game, and every guests that I bring onto the show, and I pick them strategically and intentionally. Every guest that I bring onto the show have exemplified that they teach the game this way. It's bigger than basketball for a lot of people, and so we want to bring individuals on to be able to highlight how they take basketball concepts and help their individuals that they are teaching and working with, how to use those same concepts to become better individuals, better leaders throughout life. And so I'll, drop a link to where you can not only, get this book, but some other goodies a little bit later on. So today is a special episode. This is one that really has been a long time coming, something that was in my mind before I even did this show 3 years ago. But these are individuals that I've known, that I've seen, just grow up and be successful in the game of basketball, as well as I've learned a lot from all of them, each individual that will be on the panel tonight. And so these individuals not only have won on the court, but they have also really, really had major wins off the court, and how they've developed individuals, as well as how they have developed and enhanced and impacted communities. And so that's what tonight's show is all about, is really, really, speaking out and magnifying the work that they do in the community, again, using a little small orange ball. And these individuals are great coaches, but they're even better men. And so I would like to present to some and introduce to others some legends, as I would like to call them, in their own right. We have Coach Rob Smith, we have Coach Tyrone Slaughter, we have Coach Nick Irvin, we have Coach Lewis Adams, and we have Coach Mike Oliver. So, fellas, how y'all doing today?
Good. Outstanding.
That is great, man. Well, first of all, I definitely want to say that I appreciate each and every one of y'all for coming on to the show tonight. Just taking your time to be here with us and to be able to help share just your knowledge, your basketball expertise. And I mean, this is a heavy panel, for those that's listening, that's watching. It's going to be a whole lot of nuggets, a whole lot of education going on. But before we do, and Rob, we could just start with you, just how it is on the screen. We go Rob, Nick, and then Ty, and then Lou. If you all could just, a minute or so, just give a brief overview to who are you guys as men and individuals, not just the coaches.
Well, that's a good thing, and that's a good question, because a lot of times that's all people see us as coaches.
Absolutely.
And they don't understand that we are human beings and we are men, and we all got families that we have to take care of and things that we have to do. So, I'm a family man. Spend a lot of times with my kids, and just playing with them and watching them grow up and do some things that my father wasn't around, when I was growing up. So it's for me to be around them every day, so they can have a male figure in their life. Especially I have a daughter and I also have a young man. So it's just huge. I'm just a family guy. I'm an ordinary guy. I ain't no different than nobody else. I like to, get out and have my good time like everybody else do. But I'm no different than nobody else.
I love it. I love it. Nick?
Well, I'm a family man also, a man of God, a father, got 2 children, and I'm big on family. That's what it's all about with me. That's what it's going to continue to be. Yeah, I'm a basketball coach, but I'm more than just a coach.
Absolutely.
It's bigger than basketball with me, and I just try to learn from mistakes I had in the past, and just put everything together and turn myself into all around great man, and mentor to these kids and making sure they make lifelong decisions along the way and making sure they do the right thing, because your first impression is always your best impression. So that's what I try to teach these kids and just be about it. Like Rob said, I'm a normal guy. I play video games, do a number of things. I enjoy myself too. I go out and have me a good time and everything, but but family man all around the board.
I love it. I love it. Ty?
Well, I don't go out and have a good time. I'm too old for going out and having a good time, but I like to have a good time. I like to have a good time at home. I am, as Rob and Nick, and I'm sure Lou would say the same, I am a father of 2 beautiful daughters. That is actually the greatest job and the most joy that I get out of being a father to 2 outstanding daughters. I'm a basketball coach. That's not what I am. I mean, that's not who I am. That's what I am. I coach basketball, but I'm also a shaper of young men. I think at the end of the day, all of us are shapers of young men, and ultimately, our lives that we live ultimately are directives for the young people that we coach. And I take great pride in that. Didn't play the game of basketball, so I don't have the expertise of having played kind of a self-made basketball coach, so to speak. So it goes to show you that anybody can do this. I mean, if you can study and you're passionate about it, you can do it. I've been working in some form of team sports since I was 15. I'm 55 today. So I love basketball. I love people. I know a lot of people may not know that I love people. A lot of people may not view me as an approachable guy, but I'm actually a pretty cool guy when it's all said and done. And I love house music. I do love house music. I used to be a house head when I was a younger man. But, I can still jump for about one song, and then it's all over for me.
I love it, man. I love that. I didn't know about the house head, Ty. I didn't know about that.
Oh, this is how it started. My dreams are broken hearted, but I want you. Yeah, it'll never be the same on those silly games. Oh, Kate, won't turn around.
Lou?
Well, pretty much the same. We almost got the same story. We all are family men, but my path is a little different from these guys. Of course, I'm responsible for Tyrone, 2 beautiful daughters. I introduced him to his wife back in college in '85, so he wouldn't tell you that. But that's how that went.
Anyway, he knows me for his Coca-Cola show, but we're not going to go into that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway,
absolutely.
Pretty much family man. I like to get out there a little bit and do a little bit, shake a leg every now and then. I know Coach Rob can Nick step a little bit, but I'm just, get out there, listen to me a little blues and fish a little bit. Country boy. Do a lot of cooking. I enjoy cooking. That's my passion. But basketball is what we do for a living. We do it for the kids. We do it for the kids because there's no money in it at all. So our job is to make sure the kids are educated and, we put the best product out for the city of Chicago. That's all we're trying to do.
Okay, yeah, I love it, man. And so Lou, let's stay right here because you said that you're a country boy. The people that, again, first of all of you guys are fathers. And I think that's exactly speaks more to who you guys are. Basketball is what you do. It's not necessarily who you are. And I think just having daughters, I think all 5 of us, have girls, and that's, a whole different, dynamic. But Lou, you are really a country boy. You from Mississippi. How did growing up in Mississippi, so my first question is, I always like to get the foundation to everybody so that the people can kind of understand what motivates you, what fuels you, But how did growing up in Mississippi like shape you to be the man that you are today?
Well, Mr. Bailey, I tell you, I'm sure that my path, like I said in the beginning, is a little different from all the rest of these guys, man. And Tyrone, been to my hometown where I'm from, Tunica, Mississippi. It was one of the poorest counties in the country. It's called Sugar Ditch. So I came up a little different, running water and stuff like that. When I'm telling you, it's like 10 houses and 2-room houses. And that's what it kind of like grew up to. And I didn't want my life to be like that. So when I got a chance to, to go to high school, went to Dunbar for a little while. I didn't last long at Dunbar. Ms. Dawson was my dean, and we didn't get along. She asked me what school I was finna go to. I said what school she's about to teach at. She was telling me I had to find me a school. So I left the school of Dunbar, the city of Chicago, and moved to Mississippi, where I became a pretty good basketball player. Went to the University of Alabama for about 2 months, and I found out that in those structures, and this is what draws me to special kids, is that I really couldn't learn in that setting in the University of Alabama, because at the University of Alabama you're inside of a big old like a hall, and that's a classroom. I needed something more fitting for me, which I can learn from. I can go put my hands on my instructor. So I transferred to Russ, and that's why I met Coach Slaughter at, and I was a Division III All-American. I was pretty good at it. So I didn't want, to go back to Tunica and live that kind of life. So that kind of like shaped me and formed me into being the person that I am, knowing I want more.
Okay. Yeah, I love it. Ty, can you tell us a little bit about your background growing up? I know that you said that you are a self-made coach. You've been involved in team sports since 15. But just growing up, how did your community help shape you into the person that we now see today?
Yeah, and again, excuse me. I think, as I said, my story is different, but it could be similar to the other guys on here. I grew up in a mother and a father, both parent household. My father wasn't really active in my life, to be honest. I mean, he owned his own business. He worked every day. My mother, she managed the house. She did all of the things that we had done as children. And I played baseball. I ran track, and I had a very short stint at football, and it didn't really work out for me. My brother was younger than me, and the guys in the neighborhood were playing baseball, and I coached baseball at 15 years old. I started my own team, and I thought that I knew what I was doing. I lost my first 6 games by 1 run each. And what they came to realize was that that's coaching. And so I said, well, I like doing this. I forfeited a lot of things that young people would do at the high school ages, simply because I love coaching baseball. And I tell people all the time, when you do something that you love doing, it's not a job. It's not a job. It's a calling. And for me, coaching has been a calling all my life. All of my life that I can remember has been involved in coaching. And so I went off to college. I went to Rust College, a young man. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but my godfather was a graduate of Rust. He said, hey, I can get you some scholarship money if you want to go to Rust. I said, fine. They gave me a Foot Locker. I got on a Greyhound bus, and they dropped me off on the side of Rust, and on the other side was MI. It was closed down. I went on campus. I was hundreds of miles away from home, and I was the first time ever being on my own. And it was one of two things. I could either make it, I could finish it, or I could quit. And one of the things my parent has taught me is that you don't quit. You finish what you started. So I got me a room, and I went to the financial aid office. They said, you need a work study. I said, okay, fine. What do you do? Most of them are gone. You got to go down to the Millen Multipurpose Center. You got to speak with Mr. Stovall. I said, okay. I go to the multipurpose center. I say to one guy in the gym, are you Mr. Stovall? He says, who are you? I says, I'm Tyrone. I need a work study. He said, grab that broom, sweep that floor, get some water. And I became a manager. I was a manager of a girls basketball team. And quickly I came to the realization that I was more valuable than sweeping floors and fetching water. Not that there's anything negative about it, but I wanted to do more. So what did I do? I mimicked everything that he did. I made myself valuable. The next year, he put me on a scholarship, and from there, I went on to really work at this thing called basketball. I came back home. All those guys that were playing baseball now want to play basketball. I started coaching. Jawan Howard was on my team. I had Tom Klein, Smith, Marlo Fitter. All 3 of those guys played on one team that I coached at one time as a teenager. And so I came to the realization that I wanted to coach, and I kept doing it, started my own program, my own summer program. And from there, I just stayed at it, got an opportunity to coach in high school. And when I look back at it, it is probably the greatest opportunity that I was ever afforded, was to have an opportunity to coach young people at Whitney Young High School. And I know every coach on here has a tremendous love for where they coach, and as well they should. I love what I did, and I love what I do to this day. And anything that I can do to help not just young players, but young men. I think Rob and Nick, they clearly, and Mike, they're quite familiar with my crusade now for Black coaches coaching at the collegiate level. We're so fortunate to have one of those young men who has made that transition, and Nick, and we're proud of him. And our challenge is really to try to move as many African Americans as we can, especially from the high school ranks to the collegiate level, because we have so much more to offer than just what we're doing right now. So that's kind of my story. And I had an opportunity to watch Lou play basketball firsthand, and I can tell you he was a much better basketball player than he is a basketball coach. I can tell you that.
Thanks for those kind words, Ty.
and that's 3 state championship games later. I mean, that's pretty good. And he wasn't a bad spades player. Wasn't a bad spades player either.
We're doing a little better there right now.
Now, Ty, so I got a question before I move on to Nick, Rob, and then Mike. Mike has, joined us also. Now, you stated that it was your first time leaving home, and so you had to learn about, like, what is a work-study job. Once you got a work-study job and met Mr. Stovall, and now you are basically the manager of the basketball team. But you understood that you were more valuable than just doing that, and after everybody go, I want to talk about just the importance of adding value, because we talk about adding value a lot on this show. But as a young college freshman, what was the greatest lesson that you got from sweeping those floors and getting that water? Like what was the greatest personal lesson that you learned from that?
It's funny that you asked that question, because I talk, and if anybody ever watches our team and our program, one of the things that I believe is one of our strengths, not winning games, of course, but is our managerial staff. And it's strong. Why? Because I was a manager. And what I tell all of my managers all the time is your job is valuable. Your job is valuable. And when Dr. Stovall gave me that mop and told me to sweep the floor and to grab water, he was trying to see if in fact that's all I wanted. And for me, I didn't look at it. It wasn't a small task. It was important. Why? Because he said it was important. And I realized that it was important. So what did I want to do? I wanted to do a great enough job so that I could look to do more, because I wanted to grow. And the same thing I say to players, and we talked about it with young coaches. If you want to go higher, you have to do more. Every coach on here tells every player that wants to shoot all the balls, you got to do more if you want to shoot more basketballs. And that was a lesson that I learned. That was the overall lesson that I learned when I got dropped off on the side of Ruston between MI, was that I could not fail. I could not go back home to my mother, who has sacrificed so much to allow me that opportunity to go back home and say that, I give up. Too many of our kids today, they give up at some of the easiest opportunities. I wasn't giving up. I was going to make it through. And God knows there were some dark nights on that campus. There were some dark nights. There were some nights that I didn't think I could make it. But again, if I can sweep floors, if I can fetch water, if I can wash uniforms, then I can stick it out. And I think it turned out really. And like Lou said, I met my wife, I met the mother of my 2 daughters. I look back, and we've been together since 1986. That's the best time of my life. The only thing better than that was when I beat Rob in the state championship. That's the only thing better.
Hey, I love that. I love that. Nick, can you talk about your, upbringing, and how that has molded you into the person that you are today?
Well, my mom and dad was a big part of my life, and I learned a lot from them. Also, my brothers and my sister, and my grandmothers and aunties. So, I always knew I was going to be a part of basketball in some capacity.
Yeah.
I played the game, and I always want to be like my father. That's my role model, and that's who molded me to the person I am today. Him and my mom, and I just want to just do right by my father and mother, and make sure they'll be proud of me at everything I do. And a lot of people take the way I coach and the way I played, and they look like, oh, he a bad person, but that I'm always was passionate about a number of things, and I just I've always been we always been a tight knit family. And everything my father did, I walk with him. He went to work when he was at Xerox. I went with him. I just wanted to be a reflection of him. And once my playing days was over, I sat next to him on the sideline and learned a lot from him about coaching. One thing I learned about him about when coaching kids was motivating. Say, you could get on them, but also motivate them at the same time. And everything he done, I did it. And I had a number of great coaches in my life. Don Pittman, the legendary coach.
Absolutely.
He taught me a number of things also, and still to this day. So I always kept older guys around me and picking their brain on a number of things, because they ain't gonna lie to you. They're gonna tell you the truth. And Coach Pittman been there for me from day one. Come by Morgan Park time to time and help out, and he been with me for 12 years since I've been over there. So that's one thing I miss about being at coaching at Morgan Park is spending time with Coach Pittman, because he he paid a way for a lot of these kids out here, and helping them on and off the court. So I'm definitely gonna miss that. And having Coach Jerry Tarkanian, Hall of Fame coach in my life, and sit next to him and picking his brain on a number of things, and just learning the game of basketball at the highest level. And so I just knew right then and there, I wanted to be a coach. I want to come back and coach the kids and help them qualify, get to college, because at some point in time, a lot of Chicago kids weren't really qualifying and going to the 51 levels. They was going to junior college. So my whole objective was to come back and just help and send them to division colleges, and just get them on the right path and learn from the mistakes I made, and teach them with it. And and I think all of us been successful at doing that. We've been helping kids and sending them to college, and that's the most important thing with us. And just giving back to the city of Chicago, because a lot of people played in the public league and don't come back.
Absolutely.
And I'm a product of the public league. My career started in the public league. I was, successful, in the public league. So I just want to come back and give back to that. And then, when you got guys like Ty, Rob, Lou, Mike and stuff, and you sit back and you can learn a lot from them, because they've been in the game for so long. And, I came in as, oh man, I'm gonna beat everybody. I'm gonna come after them, this and that. and when you sit down and talk to them and pick their brain, and then they tell you the right things. Yeah, that go a long way with me. A lot of people say that, oh, we ain't friends and this and that, but Rob sat me down one day and said, look, man, Nick, you're a good coach, but you gotta pay more attention to this, focus on this. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, cool. So, I take everything these guys say to me and take it to heart, because I know they ain't gonna lie to me.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, that's why I really got into coaching. That's to sum up about me.
Okay. And that's big, because I had Thomas Johnson on, TJ. Yeah. And you was watching it, Nick, and TJ was just talking about the importance of sharing. And I think that with Hambrick, Coach Hambrick, with Rob or Coach Pittman, with yourself, and just the older generation, how they passed it down to us, because all actuality, myself, Ty, Rob, were all on the sophomore level at one point, you know, if people can believe Ty and Rob actually was on the sophomore level at one point, right? But, you know, learning from other individuals. And now, you know, as you said, now Rob paid it forward even with you kind of peer to peer. And a lot of times we are afraid to help one another, share one another, because it's like, hey, they cool as long as they not winning more than me, or as long as they, you know, not doing more than me. But I think that it was, you know, it's definitely important to even mention of how, you know, one, Rob was able to help you, you know, for people that may not know. And, you know, Rob or Mike will probably talk about it, how, you know, Rob used to work with Mike, you know, or how, you know, Lou introduced Ty to his wife. But genuinely, all you guys like one another. And I think that that's rare when it comes to just us as a people, especially in the coaching realm. But what I think a lot of people don't know about you, and I did my homework, you know, because at some point I want to have, you know, the rest of you guys that haven't been on individually to really get more into your story. Right. But after the UNLV, Nick, a lot of people don't understand that you came, as you said, coming back to Chicago, but you came back to Chicago and you went to Robert Morris
for a little bit.
Yeah. So can you talk about why you decided to even, you know, continue? And I know that, you know, Ty talked about it, Lou talked about it. Did you also have that feeling of you just can't let mom and pops down?
Yeah, you know, the thing with me, well, it was Fresno State with Tart. So, but the thing with me is, I just always wanted to come back and get back to Chicago. You know, I always wanted to do that. You know, I was on the West Coast, and my father always said, you know, you got to come back and give back. And he was like, you know, you done all that, your playing career over, so just come back and help me. You know, just come back and help me and be there with me. And that's what I did. And plus, you know, Pops was getting older, and he needed somebody to take over the program because, you know, all of us was gone. We was running. So, you know, he wanted somebody to take over the program. So, you know, I used to, you know, always come back and do that with him and everything. And I remember having conversations with Mike Oliver all the time. You know, him and my father used to always talk and everything. So, you know, especially when Mike was wearing all that good Adidas stuff, man. he was with Pops back then before Adidas. Now, he's been at Adidas for about 30 years.
Yeah.
But, you know, I just always want to get back and all that.
Okay, come back and give back. Yeah, I love that. Rob, explain to us how, you know, growing up, you know, here in the city, helped kind of mold you into who we see today.
Well, like I said, we all got some of the same paths, but mine was a little different because at a young age, you know, you really want your father around with you. So my father kind of left out the household when I was like 13. And for me, with my brothers and sisters, I was like the one who was the closest to him at that point. You know, both my name is Robert. So we spent a lot of time together. But that part made me become to be who I am, because what I did tell myself is I was going to take this negative and make it into a positive. And I wasn't going to make no excuses. Well, since my father wasn't around, this is where I do this and I do that and I did this and I did that. That's what I wanted to do. What I did do was, and today I see kids do that, is I acted out because he wasn't there. You know, I acted out in school, I acted out at the park, I acted out in the neighborhood. I did all type of stuff that I probably wouldn't have did had he been there. You know, but as I started to get older, I'm like, this ain't gonna work for you. You know, and we talked about Mr. German. Well, Mike know about Mr. German. He from the park, and he kind of strayed me in that direction. Like, hey man, if you stay on this path, you ain't gonna be around here long. You're gonna either be going to jail or you're gonna be dead. You gotta find something. So that's how he put me with Coach Hammer, and that's what kind of changed my whole life around to get me to where I'm at today, to understand where I needed to be. Always had the qualities of being there, but just didn't know. My mother was a strong Black woman. You know, she held it down for all five of us. That wasn't it, but it's just a difference. And we all hear of a man raising a man. That's a little different right there. So Giving back has always been something I learned. When I was in college and Mike was at home, he always took care of me, made sure I was fine. You know, other guys did that in the neighborhood. They all took care of us to make sure that we were good when I went off to school, you know, and do those things. So that's what my thing is, giving back. You know, every one of us early in our careers could have probably left and did some other stuff, but we stayed in our communities, you know, to make sure that the communities were fine and things got taken care of that need to be taken care of outside of just basketball. You know, so it's been great for me. This whole thing of being able to be a coach and help young men be successful and go off to college and get their degrees. And I know now, and all of us, and Nick is probably the youngest on here, and Mike has been coaching the longest out of all of us. We probably now get more gratitude when those young men walk across the stage in high school, or they call you back and say, I finished my degree, versus holding up that trophy now, because we've all did it. At the very beginning of our career, that was our focus point, was to get them trophies.
Get that trophy.
But now it's more important when we know that we're sending kids to school for free. And we also seeing them graduate from college and come back home. That's bigger than anything at this point in our community, because we know 9 times out of 10 they're going to be successful people in our communities because they will often do that. And that's a lot of that has to do with us, and their parents are helping them get to where they were supposed to go to college. You know, and I always tell people, and I know these guys do the same thing, it's free. You know, we be at work with people talking about their student loans. They're talking about, you know, and it's free. And I'm sitting there like, well, I went to college, I had a scholarship, I didn't have to pay. I'm not paying student loans. And our athletes are getting that same opportunity. You know, our biggest thing, and I know all these guys do it, is stay in school. I got some professional athletes that's playing, and I'm still on them right now about, hey man, you need to go back to school.
Right.
When that ball stops, because it's gonna stop. What you gonna do?
Right.
You know, some of y'all gonna have a long career, some of y'all gonna make some money, a whole bunch of money. Some of y'all ain't gonna do that. So then what you gonna do? I mean, so those are things that, you know, that help me, and I just want guys to be successful and come back and do stuff and just be successful in our city, because we need it bad in this city. We need it bad, and the kids that we're coaching and putting off to college, we need them to come back as they get older to come help us turn this thing around, because somebody has to do it. Some generation has to be the one who step up and do it. Now, which generation it's going to be, I don't know, but it has to start, and it needs to start now.
Yeah. That's great. And I think, you know, because all of you all have hoisted that big trophy up, you know, but just being able to understand that having a kid call you and say that I got this degree, you know, that's more gratifying than, you know, winning one or multiple state championships. So, you know, I think that, you know, that's a huge comment, Rob. Mike, Coach Oliver, tell us a little bit about who Mike Oliver, the man, is, and then just tell us a little bit about, you know, growing up, you know, as we just saw, you know, in the courts, you know, how that helped mold you into who you are today. Well, really on the West Side. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But my situation is, you know, I had to grow up real quick because I came from, you know, the West Side of Chicago. My mom passed away at a young age, and I just had five sisters and brothers who just wouldn't allow me to fail. And you know, and like I told you on your show early when we did the show, that I had to go through a lot of stuff, man. And on the West Side of Chicago, you kind of had two options. You either gonna do this gang bang, or you're gonna try to play basketball and get out the hood the best way you can. So, you know, I was afraid, man, because at 17, 18, I seen a lot of stuff. I had a couple of guys, man, like in 6 months, I had like 3 guys get killed, about 5 go to penitentiary. Guys just was getting involved in the wrong thing. So I always, people don't know, I went to school all my life on the West Side when I was young, up to like my freshman year. I want to go to Mountie or Harrison or Collins so bad that I was always with them in the summer. I never played with Curie. In my 4 years of summer basketball, I always played with Manly because my intent was, after this year, I'm going to transfer to Manly. I'm going to be with Carlos Hayes. I'm going to be with Kenny Shine. I'm going to be with the guys. But my sister was just strong, and she said, well, you just got to make it out of Curie if you're going to make it. But my freshman year, man, it was like I had to get up at 5:30 to get on that Roosevelt bus to get to Pulaski, take Pulaski down to 31st, and then change buses. So I had like a 45-minute ride to school every day from Roosevelt and Sacramento to 49th and Archer. So that really grew me up real fast that I had a lot of time to think about what I wanted to do and what I didn't want to do. So, so that really helped me. I got a chance to go to Curie, play good basketball, meet a lot of guys out of the LeClaire neighborhood, and then I moved with my sister to LeClaire in the homes, which me and Rob, all us live in that same area. And I've seen all these guys, man. I'm a little older than Rob, but we still competing around the same level. I see Chris Had, Robertus Robertson, all them guys. Rob, them at Simeon, them guys at King, and they the talk of the town.
Right.
So I get to go to the field house and, Kenny Bowl, these the guys Rob know, and all them guys, so I could measure up my talent against them. So I went to Curie, pretty successful, Mayor R. Airy, had a good situation. I got to meet real peoples. Because I tell people, when you go to Curie, you ain't always something like you're already in college. Because you meet people from all different sides of town. It's just not your neighborhood kids.
Yeah.
Because at Curie, you could track them. We had kids from the south side, west side, north side, Caucasian, Asian, Black, Hispanic, Latino. So we had everything in the midst of 3,100 students. So I was like, damn, y'all start school at 7:30? So that means you got to get there at 7:30 for first period. And if you ain't there, they didn't care nothing about you as an athlete because the basketball team wasn't that good. It was all about football and baseball. So it was a culture shock for me. So I went on and did that, got a scholarship. First, I went to Moraine Valley 1 year, followed my guy, 2 years, followed my guy, Larry Wallace, who my assistant coach. We've been together 28 years. Came back, went to Aurora. You met me up at Aurora, coach. And played good down there. And I'm leaving Aurora for the transfer to UIC. I said, man, I'm going to get a chance to play Division I basketball. I'm going to go down there to UIC. I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. And I could play. I was pretty decent. And that same summer, Tracy did a transfer from San Diego State. I called Coach Willer. I said, hey, Coach, I ain't no fool, man. I ain't played against these guys. You got Chris Harris over there that came from Indiana State. You got Tracy Dilley came from San Diego State. Now I just looked up in the damn paper. You got Tony Freeman that's transferring from Indiana. I'm gonna fit in that. He said, Coach. Then Coach said, well, man, if you could play, you just got to go out there and hoop and compete. I said, yeah, I could play, but, man, I don't think I'm on their level like that right away. These dudes is tough. I'm tough, too. But they're looking at, man, these dudes got experience. So I went on, finished up at Roy, had a great career, played in the pro-rounds, got my feet wet, tried out for a couple, at the time, CBA team. So I'm thinking I got a chance to make a lead, but I didn't know that anybody who had $100 could go up to and try out for the Rockford Lightnings. So I come back and I'm playing. I meet this guy, Lou Adams. And if anybody know about LeClaire Courts, at noontime, you doing two things there. You're a good, decent basketball player, or you're a decent businessman. We all hooping. So, this is a true story, man. I come out, me and Lou come out, nothing but Mercedes-Benz line up out there. Toyota 4Runners line up out there. At that time, that was $35,000 trucks.
Right.
And police all came in at noontime, about 5-6 of them. They looking around. Now the pros is gone back to their team. The guy say, man, I can't believe all you guys got these real good jobs and all of y'all got lunch at the same time. So there's a lot of expensive cars out there. They had to say no more to me. So I went on, I said, damn, what I'm gonna do? I went up to started volunteer at Mountain. I was Mike Clark. Mike Clark was the head coach over at Mountain. I volunteered, coached under him for like a summer. Then I went up to Curie and got an opportunity. Talked to my old coach who coached me. He said, man, you want to coach? He said, you sure you want to coach, Oliver? I said, yeah, man, I'm already volunteering at Mountain. And, I'm helping out, giving back to the kids on the west side. But this is where I played at. He said, well, okay, come back, man. So he asked me to come back. He just wanted to see was I really going to come back.
Right.
So I come back that Monday. I come back that Tuesday. He said, man, I'm going to make you the sophomore coach. I said, I'm going to be the sophomore coach at 22? That's cool. I'm in my world. I'm doing my thing. I'm cool. I just wanted to get away from that crowd that I ain't supposed to be around.
Right.
So I'm doing everything right and everything. Win the Fossil City Championship, 93-94. Come back, 94-95, Rob winning. I become the head coach. Roy Cadati get the job at HF. And then, because I had a white guy, James McLaughlin was the head coach. Yeah. So Cadati didn't take his guys from Westinghouse with him. He took the young white guy from Curie and brought him out there, James McLaughlin. So that left the head job open. I got the head job in 95-96. Rob became my Fossil assistant coach. We doing well. I got some kids off the white side. I got some tough kids out of the Clef course. Then I mixed them up with the kids from out south. And I said, damn, man, this is real nice, man. We got a chance to help some kids. I'm off the streets. I'm doing positive things. Rob doing his thing. Then I look up, Lou coaching at Inglewood.
Yeah.
This must be for us.
Yeah.
Got some young black homie guys who giving back and everything. And
but it's so funny, Mike. It's so funny that you tell that story. And one of my friends was killed in the city of Chicago, good friend of mine. So I picked up and moved to Atlanta for a little while. We bought a car wash in Atlanta for a minute. And just trying to figure my way out, man. I never forget it. I came downtown and Ron Coleman was working downtown at the CPS building. And I go up with my resume, and he came downstairs and told me, like, Lou, look, you gotta get out the building, man. You can't be in this building. We can't hire you. I'm like, listen, you can hire me, man. My background is clean. I need a job. So he called me like 3 weeks and like, man, you cleared. I said, I told you I was good, man. He's like, so you go to Inglewood. I said, Inglewood. I said, just send me, man. I'm gonna go. I don't care what you send me. So I did like 7 years at Inglewood, man. It was tough. But I told the kids when I first went to Inglewood, I said a couple of things. I'm gonna save y'all life, and y'all probably gonna save my life. And they're yet still to be true as I continue my journey. It was those guys that helped shape me to become a decent young man and a good basketball coach. And as I went to Orr, it was like a tough school. Like even now I have a chance to go to different schools, man, and and blossom and good neighborhoods and stuff like that. But this is my niche. Orr is my niche. That's exactly where I want to be. I wouldn't have it no other way. I get calls every day. Nick was even telling me about Morgan Park. I'm just telling Nick like, oh, Nick, I'm gonna stay where I'm at. I'm decent where I'm at. I ain't gonna leave. I think it's pretty good. Like I said, when I first got there, I started with Mr. Poole. And I tell everybody, man, and Rob and Mike and Ty can attest this. I'm sure Nick can too. If you got a principal, man, that's athletic, then you're gonna pretty much be okay. Yeah. I started with Jamie Poole, which is good, at Orr. And then Tyus went to another level with it. And then I got Chanel. So every year I had a good principal. Every year we've been prospering. If you got somebody that's in your corner and you're going to do pretty well, it's kind of tough to win, if everybody ain't with you. Yeah. You need the lunchroom people, you need the school team, you need the whole building with you. But more so than anything, those principals do have to do a good job with you. They have to do a pretty good job with you. And I've been fortunate enough to work for 3 good principals, man, with Poole and Tice and Chanel. So I've been blessed, man. I've been blessed. I've been blessed. I'm blessed.
And so that's a great point, Lou. And I got that question further down and the list of questions, but I'm asking now, how important, because Ty, you got Miss Kenna there. She's been definitely sports. Nick, you had great sports person at Morgan Park. I think Mike and all of you guys, I think maybe other than Ty, but Ty, you kind of went through an admin change when Miss Skinner, took on the principalship. But can you guys talk about what Lou is mentioning, just the importance of building that relationship with your administrators and getting them to understand how important it is for basketball, especially how that can kind of shape and change the culture and climate of the whole building.
Yeah. But I think if you look at it, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. What I was going to say was, if you look at any school, or not in any school, but in a lot of schools, especially in the inner city, you look at, and we talked about this before, you look at programs that are successful. If you go into Simeon, if you go into Curie, if you go into Orr, if you go into Morgan Park, if you go into Whitney Young, all of those coaches have a command of their programs. Okay. All of those programs are strong. All of those programs are strong invariably because they have a great administrative group. Invariably, it's going to be the principal that supports what you're trying to do. Yeah. Because I think many people always look at it as winning games. Yeah, winning games is the byproduct of all the other stuff that we do. Winning games is a byproduct of great kids and great families coming into your school and then abiding by whatever the rules and the regulations that you as a coach and as an administration sets forth. Because for all of us, I've won 3 state championships, but I have far more guys that have gotten college scholarships. Rob has 6 state championships, far more guys who have had college scholarships. So when you look at programs and you look at schools that have had success, and I don't care whether it's in the band, I don't care whether it's in the ping pong program, invariably it's because you have an administration that supports what the coaches are doing. And invariably what the coaches are doing are going to be good things. And as a result, good things are going to happen. I'll tell anybody, I work for fundamentally the best principal in the entire world. A person that oversees a school that graduates 99% of our students, average AC 28 point something, and we have the unmitigated goal to be mentioned in the same breath as all of these guys on this forum today. Why? Because she understands that there's great synergy between sport, athletics, extracurricular, and academics. And if you don't believe me, call down to Notre Dame or to Michigan or to Duke. When those teams win, admissions go up. Admissions go up.
Absolutely.
I mean, applications go up. People want to be around something. Kids want to be able to go to a school where they can say, man, we have a chance to go downstate. Do you know how many programs, how many schools kids will never experience an opportunity to go downstate?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable when you think about it.
Ty, you say that, and I say again, and I've been just fortunate. Again, I've been blessed. I've been downstate 6 times. When I took the job at Orr, I had no idea that I would be going downstate 6 times, and not only winning, because when I first started, I used to say all the time, my job ain't that getting no city championship or no state championship. Yeah, or come on, who would have thought that? I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna get these boys to go to college and it's gonna be good, But then I think about it, when you put in a lot of hard work does pay off, and that's what it was. It was hard, but my goal was never to win state. But we did so well, just teaching and forming young men and turning young men into good people on the west side. And, like I said again, south side guy, but the west side been so good to me. I love the west side. I love Orr, and it's just been a blessing for me, man. Teach these boys how to be young men.
You got to have the right people in your corner to be successful. If you don't have the right people in your corner, things could tend to go left. But like Ty say, it's about the kids. Like everybody's saying on this, it's about the kids anyway. So because at the end of the day, I never really got caught up in the business side of all that. I was just trying to make sure my kids was on point and try to help every kid in the building who needed help.
Right.
You know, it wasn't just about the basketball team; it was about everybody in general. But if what sports related stuff, you got to have support with it. You know, like we all won state championships. We all sent players to college. We did a number of things. So,
Yeah.
you know, for me personally, it didn't matter. It didn't matter what I had going on in the building or, you know, who was there. I just want to help kids in general.
Yeah.
But that to go into me, Nick, with you, like the administration is huge.
Yes.
I've probably been through 8 principals.
I've been
since
through
I came
7.
here.
I've been through 7. Absolutely.
I've been through one.
But those people who came in had an identity or ideal of what this was about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they had that identity like, hey, this is what this is about. This is about this. This is about this. And KB, we talked about this before, and Ty just mentioned it a second ago. Stability.
Absolutely.
It's huge. We've only had three coaches at Simeon for basketball. And people don't even really remember Mr. Bryant because he was a short stint.
Mm-hmm.
There's only been 3 football coaches at Simeon. There's only been 2 baseball coaches. So you've had stability in the building, you know, at that sport part. Now, the principals have changed, but they came in with the same mentality as every one of the other principals came in. Hey, these people are hired here to do something. Let them do what they here to do, you know, and that's not mess with it.
Yeah.
You know,
sometimes, Coach, sometimes, Rob, you know, and I hear you talking, and I haven't been in the situation yet because I've been fortunate to my principal to pass it on. But sometimes the principal that you get might not agree to that. They might not agree to what, you know, what's been passed on. That's a big thing right now. You know
I've been fortunate enough to be able to have somebody, but that don't happen every place. I get that.
Exactly.
It's what you have to have as a coach. You know what, when you say or, you know, you think of Lewis Adams.
Absolutely.
That's just what it is. When you say Morgan Parker, it's going to be strange to say you think of Nick Irvin, but
absolutely.
When you say it, you're going to think of Nick Irvin. When you say Curie High School, you think of Mike Oliver.
Yeah.
When you think of these are the people you think of because you guys have been there and established an identity there.
Yeah.
You know, and the other sports at y'all schools are pretty good, and they probably successful, but for the most part, when you say a school, those names are attached to those schools. Period. Point blank. No matter, they don't say.
Yeah.
I mean, now Ty might be the only one on here for the most part. When you say Whitney Young, people may say, "Oh, shit, they got the best principal, Joyce Kenner."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They may say
they would be correct.
She's been around. But when they say schools, they name the people that's on the screen 9 times out of 10.
Absolutely.
There's another thing. A lot of new people come in with a misperception of us. Let's just say, well, us. You know what I'm saying? But they got to come in. They got to come in with an open mind and stop listening to what other people say and get to really know somebody too, as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, I think that'd be the problem with some you know, these new administrators coming in.
Mm-hmm.
They hear and see, and then they come in and try to put their twist and this to it, which is fine. But you got to also think about what we done there.
Yeah.
Right. And go ahead, Mike.
Piggyback on what Nick said, especially with me at Curie, and I had to let my principal know this with the help of Dr. Kenner when she first came. And I got great principal now. I mean, Dr. Teamwall, she support everything. She's you know, the younger version of Miss Kenner, and she do a good job with it. But I had to let her know early that, especially at Curie, when it being 90% his Latino, that when these black kids walk in the building, everybody know them.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not a lot of them. You know, and they come from a lot of different areas. So when they do something great, people gonna recognize them, and we can't discriminate them and say, well, if they not doing such and such a thing, they not gonna play basketball. They not gonna do this. They gonna. But I always want to know, and I ask, what about the other 2,800 kids in the building?
Yes.
What is their punishment?
Yes.
If they not making all C's, A's, or B's? And
Right.
she always would tell me, she said, but your kids set the bar for the rest of the kids.
Yeah.
I say, well, okay, when that bar is set and they go above that bar, that's appreciate them.
Yeah,
We
that's
was
true.
the first team in Curie history to win a state championship in anything. And I had to remind them, when we played Tyrone them at Chicago State for the city championship, it was 4,000 or 5,000 people in there. You ain't gonna have that many people that know English fair, no history fair, no science fair. So let's give these kids their credit when they do what they supposed to do. Because first of all, now they made a rule because incident, all your kids gotta be passing every class to be eligible to play.
Yeah.
But we got other kids walking around that building with 6 or 7 F's and ain't none get done. So when you got a principal, you gotta go in there and let them know that this is what you do for the school, not just for your basketball player. And when you win, everybody get credit. The whole
it's so funny, Mr. Bailey. Real quick, it's so funny, Mr. Bailey, because I've been actually doing a lot of shows and podcasts, man. You're the first one I've been on, man. I got to get on there with Rob and Tyrone and Mike with the other one. But I came to Mr. Bailey because I was fired for one day because I was in Mr. Bailey was my dean, so I got fired for like 1 hour, like about 1 hour and 1 day from OR. People don't understand that, but Mr. Bailey got my job back, and I was really doing some work this day. You know what I mean? He know what I'm talking about, but it's all good now. So I said, I do a show, man. It's how I repay you, Mr. Bailey.
You know what? I actually wanted to jump in there, and it was kind of to what Nick was talking about, but also what Rob was talking about. Many people don't know, but for 20 years of my life, I was a store manager with Dominex, and at the time, I was one of only 2 black managers, and we had 110 stores. And at that time, they would transfer us from store to store. And so when you went to a new store as a store manager, you were the head man in charge. You could do whatever you wanted to do. And this is what I think is happening a lot of times with administrations across our city and sport and other things. When they come to a school, they want to do the way they want to do it. Versus I used to walk into a store and I would tell my what was called a co-manager, hey, I'm going to take a month. I'm going to step back. I'm going to talk to people. I'm going to watch how we operate and just see why you do what you do. I don't think that many people as administrators today, like I said, maybe you have a misperception or you have a disposed perception. Sometimes you have to sit down and say, let's have a talk. Let me ask you why you do this, because I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. And then let me explain to you why I do what I do. Then it might make sense to you. But because I think when they talk about like Simeon, I think because of the history, people just perceive it as a good thing. It's been good. We're going to leave it over there. Let me go deal with these math scores. I'm not going to deal with basketball or with football or with baseball. But in other places, people look at you and they may have an idea. I would say to anybody that manages, and that's what I did for 20 years of my life, I would say to people, you need to talk to the people that work for you. You look at schools and think about this. My principal has been the principal at Whitney Young for, I think, 26 years now. She is the most recognizable principal of any sports program in the city. She can go in any gym, any baseball field, and someone's going to say, oh, that's Dr. Kenner. I would promise you that majority of our kids, they don't even know who their principal is in a lot of the schools. A lot of the principals don't know who the kids are. My principal gets to know the kids on every program, not just the basketball team. In our school, there are 2,200 students. She knows, I would say, at least 900 kids by their name and or by what activities they do. You cannot be, to me, this is just me, I'm not a principal. I've never been one. I don't even play one on TV. But you can't be a principal and have organizations within the confines of your institution that are having success that you don't support. Now, in your support, you may want to do some things a little differently while you support them, but we need to support them. And when you look at you look at athletes, especially those in the inner city, I promise you, in every school, the athletes are going to college and graduating at a higher rate than the general population.
Yes.
There's something to be said about that. In the Chicago public school system, and we have to call a spade a spade, our public school system doesn't do a really good job of supporting and congratulating student athletes for their accomplishments. I mean, when we talk about giving back and coming back, think about it. Why do you come back to that which is not really given to you? Yeah, you have an opportunity to play. You have an opportunity to play. But when you look at the sheer number of players and athletes that we've had out of the city of Chicago, sports in Chicago is the one thing that they write about in the paper every single day during football and basketball season. And God knows
I would like to also add, Ty. I would like to also add this, and this has been bothering me for a while. Like, people don't understand. Like, I call Mike Oliver every morning at 5:30, 6 o'clock. Every morning. People don't understand. I call Ty. Rob ain't gonna answer. Nick ain't gonna never answer that. These guys
Nick
I talk to
now because he needs your
yeah, wait. He
needs your player.
I think part of Nick he didn't want to answer the phone. But I say to these guys, we still missing quite a few good coaches out there. Hoodie's a great coach, but Bogan, Harvard, Corliss. You still got, got a few more good coaches. But my thing of it is, you got Robin won 6, Nick won 4, Ty won 3, I won 3, Mike won 1. And we do a good job with raising these kids, man. I mean, I wouldn't say raising, but showing these young men how to be adults.
Yeah, Mike.
But I'm wondering how, I'm not knocking anybody. I'm wondering how the suburbs coaches make $10,000. We make $5,000. The sophomore coach make more than the freshman coach, the sophomore coach. I can't understand this. And we got twice much work that those guys have. I'm talking about this been going on for years. We try to play more games. I'll try to play 40 games if I can. Some coaches play their regular season. He make the same much as I make. 18, I don't understand that. We're talking about and it can't never be about money. This ain't never gonna be about money. It's always gonna be about we trying to get kids better and to go to school. I just never understood that, man.
So let me go back for a minute to all of you guys' point, and it's a couple things that always bother me, right? So like Joel Embiid has made the term trust the process sound good and it looked good on a t-shirt, right? But like all of you guys have been through a process of not only changing an athletic department, but changing a community. And that takes time and it's not always pretty. But this is a straight developmental show, personal as well as professional. So, we're not here to slam dance nobody, but to all of y'all point is this. Everybody say it's about the kids, but we know it ain't true. And it's about that little 3-letter word that comes in between, which is that ego. And so now if I can come in Simeon or I can come in Morgan Park or Whitney Young or Curie or any other school, that one particular person is making an impact. Well, as Ty said, do I observe and build the relationship, or do I come in with a strong fist? And oftentimes with a strong fist, the rest of the school or the rest of the community is not going to like how the person that has been creating change has been treated. And so just because somebody is in a leadership position does not necessarily make them a leader. Does that make sense? And
absolutely makes sense.
And so as Ty was saying, when he come into a store, there's no way that, you may want to come in and bring your own people or do your own thing, but you have to go with what's working. And so, I think a lot of times, because even y'all have all talked about the young men that y'all have helped, but y'all also help the young ladies because, if it's managers or just people that want to be connected to you, because, probably other than Nick, all of you all have kind of stated the dad, y'all's dad wasn't really around. So as coaches, especially as black men, all of y'all are wearing more than just that coach hat. Y'all a father to some, you're an uncle to some, you're a teacher to all. And so I think I want the viewers and the listeners to understand that it's not just that y'all are helping graduate young men, but it's a lot of young ladies that's coming inside of a school every day because they know that Coach Irvin is going to say good morning to me. Mm-hmm. Or they know that Coach Slaughter is going to, speak to me or say something crazy. So I want to let that be known, first that, and when administrators come in, they have to put their ego to the side a little bit and say, okay, how can we work this thing collectively if it's really about the kids? Yeah. So,
and KB, yeah, it's great that you said that about the MB trust the process.
Yeah,
because when you trust in the process and understanding what's going on, and I think people get kind of sidetracked, like you said, Lou and Nick maybe on here didn't coach sophomores. All us coach sophomores, but you got I coach 8th grade, I coach freshmen, I coach sophomores, then I coach varsity.
Yeah.
So I went through the whole process. Not saying that some people can't, get to where they want to go or they, find to do it. But when you say trust in the process, I went through all of the process to get to where I'm at. Yeah. People only see this part.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. They don't remember. They don't know nothing about me coaching. I was an 8th grade coach at Diet. Mm-hmm. They don't remember I was the freshman coach or know I was the freshman coach at Curie at first.
Yeah.
Then I was the sophomore coach at Curie. Then I was the sophomore coach at Simeon. Then I became the varsity coach. They just only know the varsity coach.
Yeah.
But I trust the process. And that's sometimes with players.
Yeah.
You got to trust it.
Yeah.
With guys who on this screen and some other guys that's not on this screen, they know what they're doing. Just trust it. Don't. I told you before when I was on your show, I was going to try to go where Mike know. When Fate Michaels left from Dunbar, they called me to come to Dunbar.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, this is my opportunity. I'm about to be the varsity coach. Coach Hammer bring me in the office. I talked to him and say, hey, I think I'm going to go to Dunbar. He said, I want you to run me an eligibility sheet. I said, eligibility sheet? He said, yeah, you got to run an eligibility sheet for your team. You about to be the coach, right? I said, yeah. He said, this ain't just about coaching, son.
Yeah.
You don't even know what's going on. You want to run out here and be the coach, but you don't know the process of what needs to be done for your players to be eligible.
Yeah.
What it's going to take for them to be eligible? I don't know. That's what you do. You got to do it now because you the coach.
You're the coach.
Yeah. So those things right there, trusting the process and learning, that all goes back to us when we're trying to tell guys, hey, look, you want to play 32 minutes. It ain't time for you to play 32 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We know what we do. Just trust everybody on here and send people to college. Just trust the process and go through that first.
And everybody can't be, like I said again, like I know I'm not the best coach, nowhere near the best coach, but I tell my assistant coaches all the time, that's young, just want to be a coach. It's like driving an airplane. They got a pilot and a co-pilot. You the pilot, you gotta drive. You the co-pilot, you just gotta help them drive.
You gotta what? Yeah,
you're right.
The pilot become the pilot, make a mistake, crash, everybody dead.
Yeah,
so it's tough, man. It's tough. Mm-hmm. It's a tough job.
Everybody want to be the head coach and got all this stuff to say. People in the stands, people everywhere. But that hot seat come.
It's tough sitting in that first chair, baby. It's tough sitting in that first chair. Go ahead.
You got a lot of people, man, that in our situation, if you got a 15-man roster, you got to worry about all 15.
Yeah.
But you got these parents, they only worry about one person. And they kid.
Yeah.
And I always tell the parents, if you work for Comwell or the phone company, I don't tell you about your job at the phone company. You can't tell me about this kid here. Well, why this kid playing and my kid ain't playing?
Yeah.
So I always have to tell the parents, the first thing I tell them, have you talked to your son? Talk to your son, and then you and your son both come back to me. Because your son ain't been in practice in 2 days. Do you know that?
Not at all.
But all they want to do, well, I came to the basketball game and I want to see my son play. Well, the other 8 parents came too. They want to see their thing.
But you know what? You know what, Mike?
Mike, you kind of left it out because all of us here.
That's what I was about to say. Head coaches
responsible for every level.
Yeah,
I'm saying just that game.
You're
I'm talking
responsible
about
for
that game
everybody.
time.
Yeah.
And you're right. Parents only worried about one. That's it, just one. But you got to be worried about the 42 or 43 that you had there, or whatever it is.
True.
And
that's true.
When I was coaching, I was sitting on all the benches, so they won't be like, "Oh, Nick, you just concentrate on the varsity level." But we're responsible for let's say 45 kids.
Let something happen. Then you respond. Let something happen. Something got to happen first. Then you gonna know who you're looking for. The sophomore coach come looking for you then.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Go ahead, Ty.
But I'm sorry, but I was going to say, when you look on this screen right now, I think what is it? It is 16 state championship. 16, 17. Okay, 17 state championships.
Nice play the possible. Ty, I got a possible. I got 3 in a possible because I was down
there. Now he's back to spades again. I told you all, he was a good spades player. He said, at a possible. Okay, well, a possible.
Well, Lou, I got a possible too, man.
Well, I got a possible too. I got a possible too. Yeah. But let me just say this. I think when you look on this right now, we look on the screen, you're talking about 17 state championships and some possibles. Yeah. And it doesn't matter. Every one of us have dealt with that situation. Yeah. Every one of us, the process. When you talk about a process, I mean, that's what coaching is. It is a process. Absolutely. We start and we get to the end. And everyone on this screen has proven they can get from here to there. But in today's microwave society, every parent knows what's best for their child. Not the team, but for their child. It's only their child, because this obviously is tennis, because it can't be basketball. Every parent today, unfortunately, and this is not, and I don't mean to paint everybody with the same brush, but at the end of the day, we have trusted the process. A lot of us have built processes in our programs. Yeah. And as a result of it, you look at the kids that come out at the end. And I will tell you, if you look at all these coaches on here, and if you ask them offline, every kid that you asked to trust the process and they trusted the process, I promise you, if they came out at the end, it came out just the way it was supposed to. But for every one of those kids and their parents that had another objective, who never practiced the team, who never got them from the preseason to the last game, and they got a better idea how to do it, see where their kids are. We're not saying that they don't make it, but the reality is they would have made it better. And I'm going to leave on this note. I'm going to leave this point on this note. We had a game. It was against Nick. It was against Nick, and we had a game plan. No, it was against Bogan. I'm sorry. We had a game plan, and we gave the game plan to the player, and we had practiced it all week. Got to the game, and we said, "This is what we're going to do." The game is over. We wind up losing to Bogan in the Final Four. After the game, the parents are, how the parents all get together to come to the conclusion that you, the coach, lost the game. Yeah. You had to have lost it because there's no way their kids could ever lose the game. Okay, fine. And so one of the parents asked one of the kids, "What happened? What happened?" They said, "Well, the game plan. That game plan didn't work. That game plan didn't work." Well, one of the other kids overheard it and came back and said to me, and I said, "Well, what are you talking about? The player who did not follow the game plan, whose man absolutely torched us from beginning to the end? Is that what you're talking about?" But again, the parents had it on us. They had it on us. Yeah. I played, and again, I'm going to leave this alone, but I played Mike not this year, the previous year. We had 3 fouls to give. We call a timeout after we take a 1-point lead. We tell the kids we have 3 fouls. I told them, we don't care if you grab them or pull them, whatever you have to do, give those fouls. They don't get the fouls. We lose. After the game, the parents are in their huddle, and they're saying, "Man, that Tyrone, he don't know what he's doing. He can't coach. He can't coach. We had fouls to give." I'm sorry, your son had opportunities to foul and didn't do it. And we told him. But again, my 5 appearances in state championship games, that means nothing. It all had to be talent. Every coach here has those experiences.
Baby, let me add this one thing. I mean, we all want to win as coaches, If you think a kid could help us win, you think we ain't gonna play him?
We're gonna play the best.
Yeah.
My coach Nathan Hayes told me when I was a freshman, put me in the game. He told me the game was on the line. I was mad because I didn't get in the game. He said, if I thought I could use you, don't you think you'd be in the game?
And you know what? And I just want to throw this one piece out. Too many parents, unfortunately, today, they're confused. They confuse fair with equal. Fair and equal are not the same.
Okay, break that down, Ty. Break that down, Ty.
Okay.
Break that down.
We're going to always be fair. You have an equitable opportunity to get in the game. But it probably comes with what you do in practice, what you do in the classroom, how you get to the classroom, how you get to practice. That's me being equal. Now, me being fair is looking at it and dealing with what we give you, then you go out and do it. That's the fair part. Yeah. The equal does not mean that simply because you own the team, you're going to play. When I had Jaleel, the number 10 guy's not going to play as many minutes as Jaleel. That's just not going. We're not going to be fair. We're not going to be equal. We're not going to be equal. Like you go into practice and you dominate him. What's I'm saying? If you go into practice and you dominate him, then we're going to be equal. But here's the other thing. And many people talk about winning. Winning is not all we want to do. No, it's not. But it is absolutely a fundamental part of what we do. Right. None of these kids come together and practice and work and give up their time and take away from their families and their friends to lose so that Johnny can get equal playing time. I promise you, I do an assignment every year. I do it every year with my teams. I ask them at the very beginning of the year, here, take this list. And I want you to put the starting five, who you think the starting five should be, minus yourself, and give me the next 3 subs in order. And every year, I have, as a coach, never been wrong. I've never been wrong with what I believe. Why? Because the kids are always going to be honest. And I cannot go to them and say, guys, I want to be equal tonight. I want everyone to play 10 minutes. I'm playing Simeon. Oh, I'm playing the 30-1 Curie team, but we're going to be equal tonight. We're going into let's be equal tonight. Yeah. No, they don't want to hear let's be equal. Yeah. All they want me to do is to be fair. And as a coach, I think everyone on this roster tonight would suggest that they're always going to be fair. And fair doesn't always come out looking good. My mother was fair. She gave me more whoopings than my sisters and brothers because I earned every one of those. She was fair. She was fair.
And it's not just with basketball, Ty, it's just in life, and that's why I wanted you to break down fair versus equal, and when I first left Hyde Park and I went over to South Suburban, and I never forget, we were in practice in the preseason, and Coach P stopped practice and told a dude that was like a walk-on. He said, listen, Billy Rush is a preseason All-American. He gonna shoot most of the basketballs, not you. And it was like, okay, that's what you're saying. Fair and equal is totally different. Yeah. But now let me ask you all this question since Ty done already brought it up. Let's help the parents that's watching this tonight. What are
wait, Coach. How I don't have that many hours on my AirPods. So we got. I don't.
Okay.
I don't have enough time on my AirPods.
Okay, so
maybe these guys can take 10.
So okay, give me 1 or 2 things, and we know a lot of individuals that you all may see, come from, actually live with parents. Some live with grannies, some may live with, other people. You have some that's 2-parent households. But what are 1 or 2 nuggets that you can give to the parents to be able to help in the process of, helping develop their child?
What Mike kind of spoke on a little bit earlier. None of us on this screen don't go to nobody else's job and tell them how to do it.
Yep.
Nobody on here.
Facts.
We were hired to do a job. We pretty successful doing it. We're not perfect. We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
We all still learning. Just let us do it. And it helps out so much more. Yeah. I tell people, if I ride if I take my son home every day and say, you better than Johnny, you should be playing more than Johnny, you should be doing this more than Johnny, eventually in my head, I'm better than Johnny because my daddy done told me that. I ride home every day.
Brainwash. Yeah.
And when I get to practice or the games, I should be playing and not Johnny because my daddy said I'm better than Johnny.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, your daddy ain't the coach.
Yeah.
Right.
And everything is different. You know what I'm saying? We have to make sure we understand that it's different. For me, I may be the most, out of the guys that's on here, I may be the most structured coach. It's, you know, everybody got their stuff, but it's where these guys get their kids way more freedom than I probably do.
Yeah.
Except now I got Black Cat, so he get, you know, that's a little different thing. Another story.
Yeah.
But cannot understand what we're doing. It's hard to put you out there, like Ty said.
Yeah.
I'm going to play Whitney Young tonight. I'm going to the Battle of Vincennes. It's no, if you don't understand this, I can't put you out there. I just don't. I just can't, because it's not going to hurt you. It's going to hurt all of us. And the other side is, I don't want nobody saying, "Oh, it's his fault we lost." Because kids, when you lose, they pick out a point, and parents do too.
Yeah.
If such and such hadn't turned the ball over, we'd have won. But we missed layups. Such and such missed some free throws. All different types of stuff going to the game. But we have to understand. And I talked about this before. My kids are playing, and I sit there, and I got parents like, "Man, how you just sitting there watching them? You know, if they're not in the game or this." I said, "Guess what? I'm not the coach.
I ain't the coach.
He know what he's doing. I'm a father right now."
Yeah.
And when we get in the car, my job is to say, "Yari, you didn't play because you didn't do bloom, 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 bloom. Not the coach fault. Lil Rob, you ain't doing this. This is why you're not playing." I'm not putting it on the coach. I'm not telling them they better than nobody. I'm going to help them to understand you need to work harder.
Yeah.
You need to show him you need to be out there. Yeah. Go talk to the coach. Go do something that's going to show that you really want to be there. Not because your daddy going to go and say you should be playing. That's or your mother. That's not it. Yeah. That's not how it's going, because it's not like that in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll take it a step further, Coach. I'll take it a step further, is because a lot of times, like you said again, and Ty said it, is that I think the parent need to come to school at 7:45 with their kid, because they don't get that at 8:30. And start with that one. Then, you know, follow through the day, follow him all the way through the day, and then wait till you get to practice. He's the last one in line, can't make his time, can't make his layups. And you understand why. But also, too, as being a dean of student, and Mr. Bailey, he's been a dean with me before, you can call a parent and tell him that, you know, that he's failing and he skipped third period class. She ain't gonna call you back. You can take that cell phone. She gonna be there, that hat. She gonna be there before the bell ring. So it's always gonna be about their kids, about what they trying to do. And I don't know what they're gonna take for us to get it over to a parent. But I've been blessed again. You know, the little parents that I do have, you know, with the exception of Tony Adams, you know, I think that's my man, you know, but he let me coach his son, man. I mean, I have some good parents. I mean, you guys have had some good parents too. You know, like I said again, we all have had good parents.
Ty said that a second ago, Lou. Ty said that when you go back and look at those parents who said, "Here you go, Lou. Here go my son.
My son.
I know you're gonna take care of him." That kid has been successful.
And successful
on the court, off the court, and getting to college.
Hey, and I tell y'all a quick story. So Lou, you can tell a story about Lil Lou and Coach V when Coach V kept calling you, but you trusted the man with your son, and what you tell Coach V.
I see me, I know Lou. I'm his daddy. Listen.
You gotta know your kids.
My folks on my side of the family had Lou Adams going to Mount Carmel as a freshman. No. My daughter, yes. Lou should be at all with his daddy. I know what I'm coaching. I know what this is. Most parents can't come and get in with me. But I tell you, and I always say this, I did Lou a disservice in college because I know Lou was my best player. But I didn't want to sacrifice Lou for everybody else. You know what I mean? I wanted to be equal. But I know Lou can go and give me a basket when I need it.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to put that pressure on Lou if he failed. I'm his daddy saying, you know what? They talking about my son.
Yeah.
He didn't do this, he didn't do that. But I knew Lou was the best player. But I wanted to make sure that everybody else felt like Lou was the best player. For them to say, put Lou in the game. And Mr. Bailey, I tell you, Lou got suspended from probably more days than anybody ever because I had to set a tone with Lou. Because again, I know who Lou is.
And that was a difficult
I
time,
told you
Lou.
to go get your son.
Huh?
I told you to go get your son, man.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
why your boy is so else, man? Go get your son, boy.
Yeah.
And
Carvel, I'll give.
go ahead, Ty.
Well, I want to give you a nugget. Here's what we should do. Here's one of the points. When I was growing up, and the teacher called my mother came to the school and she said, "Hey," the teacher would say, "Tyrone said or didn't do this," and my mother would just politely ask me, "Tyrone, did you do this?" And I would say, "No." So she would say, "So Miss Jones is lying on you."
Yeah.
I couldn't say yes. So my mother would say, "Miss Jones didn't call me up here for nothing, Tyrone.
Yeah.
Today, as a parent, what should we do? What we need are parents to support coaches.
Yeah.
Parents support coaches, coaches support parents, and we both support students. But when the kid comes home and he says, I didn't play, when I was playing baseball and I wasn't very good, I came home and I told my mother, Coach Ferguson, he's not playing me because he don't like me. You know what my mother said? Why would Coach Ferguson not like you? You a kid. She said, it's obviously you're not that good or you're not doing something. And what did I do? I got better. That's what I did. I got better. But today, parents, and not all parents, I don't want parents to hear this, like, oh, they're just reeling against parents. No, we're not. We're reeling against the parents that do these things.
Right.
My daughter played basketball. And because of our schedule, I generally didn't get to watch a lot of her games. But in those games that I went to, and you all have these parents, when I went to the game, I cheered for every girl on the team. I didn't care who she was or what her name was. When my daughter turned it over, I'm yelling, get her out the game. Get out the game. When your daughter turned it over, I'm saying, get her out of the game. Why? Because I'm there for the team. I'm not there just for my daughter. That's my first choice. Yeah. But I tell people all the time, and the people always look to me, and all of us have been through it. If you have a child that plays, everybody looks at you because you coach. Well, what would you do? I say, one thing I can't tell you is what that man should do with his team because he knows his players better than I do. Yeah. But what I will tell you is my daughter, if she played bad, she rode home with her mother. Yeah. If she played good, she might ride home with me. And we never talked about basketball. We never talked about basketball with her. One story, and then I'll leave it at this. One time my daughter as a senior, she had been taken out of the starting lineup. And she was distraught by it. She got in the car and was telling me, man, Daddy, he put me on the second team and blah. I said, man, this must be bothering her because she's telling me. And I said to her, well, why? I don't know. He tripping. I said, well, I said, okay. And at that point, as a father, I'm hurt now. I said, do you want me to call the coach? I've never in my life said that. But my daughter is hurting. So now I feel like I'm hurting. I said, do you want me to call the coach? She said, Daddy, I'm a senior. I'll take care of it. I'll talk to the coach. I said, thank God, because I don't even know how I would have picked up the phone to call that coach to ask about playing time, because I deployed that today. I believe that every parent should say to their child, you go and have a conversation with your coach. You be the you advocate for you as we make young boys and the young men. Young men, I tell people all the time, and I'm going to leave it at this. These young people are having sex. They're driving. They're getting high. But they can't talk about what they need to do to be better and to help the team. Something is fundamentally wrong with that question. That pencil right there for me.
Ty, I mean, guys, man, a lot of these parents right now and kids, they want you to promise them something. They want you to automatically say, well, you going to play, you going to star, you going to be on varsity, you going to do this, you going to travel. But nobody wants to say what I could do. How could I do it to be on varsity as a freshman? What do I got to do to get more playing time? Everybody just wants you to give them some, and then they go home and they tell their parent, well, he didn't give me a fair chance to be a starter. Right. But shit, we didn't play 15 summer league games or spring league games or something. I saw you 3 years. You just can't play it at that level.
Right.
And I tell guys when we have like the ending of the year exit meeting, and I tell them, I say, hey, man, I got about 4 or 5 guys coming off the lower level better than you, man. Won't you think about playing another sport, or what you think about going to a school down the street who's not really trying to go down state? They just want to play basketball.
Yeah.
If you just want to play, or you could take the next 4-5 months and go work on your game and come back and you'll play.
Yeah.
But right now, man, you ain't about to play. You ain't in that top 9 or 10. So what you gonna do?
Yeah.
But you'll tell me I'm a senior, I deserve the right to play. I say, no, every senior should be on the team then.
Yeah.
And you were saying, Mike, what Lou had
Yeah,
said earlier. Hold on. So what Lou was saying is it's the entire body of work. If they come into school, are they on time? Are they producing in school? Are they coming to practice on time? And what Ty said earlier, going back to that broom in that water, what type of value can you bring to whatever the program needs? So Nick, and I'm gonna let you go, but I also want you to answer the question, how come you, like, what do you think the issue is why our youth can't have effective communication with the person that's really spending so much time with them? Because all of us spend more time with other people's kids than we do our own. So, like, I'm gonna let you answer what you're about to say in a minute.
I want to make one statement before Nick answers.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure everybody. I want everybody to just say yes or no. The times that you won the state championship, I guarantee you, everybody was on board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was on the table.
Yeah.
Go down to the lobby after the game.
Say it again, Lou.
Go down to the lobby after the game when you win. You see who wins.
I'm saying everybody was on board. The year, whatever year you won, or however times you won, everybody that was on your roster, I guarantee you, was on board. No matter what their parents said or what their parent thought, the student who played in the game and was on the team, they was on board.
Yeah.
But you know what? Real quick to that point, a lot of times, and I can remember a couple of those. Sometimes we have to tell the kids, don't even listen to your parents. The only people you need to listen to are the people in this room, because as much as the kids are on board, the people on the outside are not. And it still goes on. And I won't belabor it. I know Nick wanted to say something, but you're right. When the players, I tell people all the time, my job is to coach players, not parents. I can't coach parents.
Yeah.
I can't coach parents.
I love that. Go ahead, Nick.
No, I was just wanting to add a little something to that. So I coach my nephew. I coach Cindy's son, Cam, whatever, my nephew. So
get you one.
Yeah, get you one. and people was like, oh, how he gonna play Cam all the minutes? He gonna do this and that? No, I made Cam play freshman ball, sophomore ball, and then varsity. I made him earn everything that he deserved. I made him earn it. And not one time my sister, I've been coaching since grammar school as well, but my sister never came to me and said, Nick, you got to play Cam. You got to do this. My mom was like, Cam, if you got a problem with Nick, go talk to your coach. That's your coach. Yeah. Cindy can't help you because you got to learn this at a young age. Yeah. And, I never gave him anything. And a lot of people want to say, oh, man, he going to do this, he do that. It don't work that way. Mm-hmm. And, for me to do that, any other kid should follow suit, follow in line.
I say that.
But you can hear Cindy in the background telling him, don't hesitate.
Don't hesitate. Right?
Don't hesitate.
I'll say this, Ty. I'll say this, Ty. For me, and I watched this from a freshman until he became a senior. My favorite player of basketball I ever seen is Miles Reynolds. Miles Reynolds wasn't good at all, man. Mm-hmm. Miles Reynolds worked. He worked so hard. Yeah. He worked so hard, man, to be a basketball player. And look where it took Miles. Miles became a real. I watch Miles. I was
having a conversation with someone yesterday about it. I said I've had two players that were fortunate in their lives. College was never going to be a question for them. The rest of their life was never going to be in question. They were pretty well doing good in their lives. Marcus Jordan and Miles Reynolds. And Marcus was more talented, clearly. Miles, everything that he got as a basketball player, he worked at it. He was committed to being good. He never questioned whether or not he was going to play. He never asked for anything. All he did was went out and got better. And like I said, He did not come in as a guy that we had projected on this trajectory. But you're right, he did work.
Hey,
And again,
I watched
there
him
are
grow.
guys
I
out there.
watched Miles. I watched Miles grow. I was so proud of Miles. I watched Miles grow.
And to add to that, you know, Ty and Lou, Miles Reynolds, he wasn't spoiled.
No,
You know, one thing what Miles Reynolds did, Miles Reynolds worked.
Yeah.
And his daddy never said a word.
Yeah.
You know, his daddy always was like, Nick, what do you think he got to work on? Because I coached him too, but he was like, Nick, what he got to work on? But he never was the guy that said, go play him, man, play him all this and that. And Miles didn't want it. And
but
Miles,
you know what? But Nick, here's the funny part though. Here's the funny part. When you look at it, and I talked about Marcus and Miles, and this is a lesson for all the parents. Both of those parents, Mr. Reynolds and Mr. Jordan, they were successful in their lives. And what they recognized was how they got to be successful: hard work, not by anybody giving them anything. And we have people that's what I'm saying. Mr. Jordan and Mr. Reynolds, those guys worked hard, and as a result of it, those were the same attributes that they gave to their kids. We need people that understand that working hard, it has value. Too many of these people are swimming in that river in Africa. Down.
Ty, so with that being said, it goes back to what we were saying. With that being said, even though Marcus Jordan is well off now, Mike ain't put him on the Charlotte Bobcats, did he?
No.
He couldn't put him on that team. That's a reason.
No. You go make your way. You go make your way. Now,
again, it's
tough. Yes, it's tough. But again, I think, like you said, all of this is, as coaches, all of us aspire to the same thing: hard work.
Hold on,
and any kid that does not believe that hard work will pay off, they probably never did it. They probably never did it. I mean, you look at guys that work hard. There's always going to be a place for a kid that works hard. He may not be a star because he may not have star abilities, but he can do something to help our team.
Now, and so, Mike and I and Rob and I both talked about it when they was on individually. It's a difference in people that are hard workers as opposed to people that just work hard. I always feel like somebody that work hard is going to be when somebody is watching you, as opposed to hard workers. You're going to do whatever you need to, like whatever you do, if it's washing dishes, if it's, film, basketball, class. But I think that what you said, Ty, and, Mike or Rob, I want y'all to speak on this. Ty said that that Miles was committed to being good. Can y'all break that down, Mike or Rob? Because that's huge.
Well, that's, I mean, like we talked about before, you're going to do it just because that's who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you're not going to do it because, okay, here go the coaches, they watching me, so now I'm going to go hard. It's, I want to win every sprint.
Yeah.
I want to do this hard. I want to do this. Same, it's all in the classroom. I want to have the best grades.
Yeah.
I want to be on time for school all the time. I'm going to be the first person at practice. I'm going to be the last one to leave. It's just putting in the work.
Yeah.
A lot of times, Lou just said it, a lot of times people want stuff given to them.
Yeah.
And that's just not going to happen in these programs. It's just not going to happen where people are going to give you stuff. I tell people all the time, and I don't have a problem. There are a bunch of schools in Chicago that you can go to and you can be the man. And you don't have to work that hard to be the man. You don't. But over here, you have to work hard. First of all, I wasn't a good player.
Yeah.
So I had to work hard. It wasn't when somebody was watching. For me to be on the court with Mike and to go up to LeClaire when those guys was playing, I had to work hard to even be able to get it. They ain't just let anybody play. You just weren't letting anybody just come in there and play. But they knew when I got in there, I was going to play hard. I was going to play with the guys. I was going to do what was supposed to be done because that's how I was brought up, to work hard.
Yeah.
All the time. I'm still working hard.
Yeah.
See,
I'm still working hard today. I mean, people think I don't ask my professionals for anything. I get up myself every day and go to work.
Yeah. Go to work.
That's what I've been doing. I've been working hard my whole life.
Yeah.
Like I told, funny you say that. I just had a conversation with a couple of guys. They said, well, man, how did y'all win the Red Sox Central with them bums? I said, what you mean? They said, man, we can't name 3 guys on your team in the last 3 years. I said, you know something? Because I had 9 guys that I knew who was going to outwork the other 5 guys on the court. I said, that's all you need is guys who going to work when you ain't watching them and they want to be successful.
Yeah.
I used to tell the guys this year's group, I told them, I say, man, I don't know how that team won with Deja won there. I don't know how we went downstate with Ramin at 6'3" at center. He said, well, coach, we won because we were going to beat everybody to every loose ball. We're going to play deep, the team defense. Trey going to make sure the person who's supposed to be shooting going to shoot. And we're going to work hard every second. And I used to always tell, it's funny that this stuff happened. I used to always tell these guys, I say, man, we ain't beat Winnie Young on the last second shot, and we ain't lost to Winnie Young on the last second shot. I say, which point of that game felt the best, winning or losing? They said, well, of course, coach, winning. I said, well, don't put yourself back in that situation no more. I worked them at the beginning of the game. You ain't got to outwork them at the end of the game. And that's what kids don't understand. The first point is just as important as the last point of the game.
Yeah.
But nobody don't play defense. Oh, man, it's only the first quarter. The points count too. This ain't the old day where they take the score down and start all over. So I used to tell all my guys, in order for us to be good, we got to work 2 times harder than the opponent because we don't have the talent that the other team have. Yeah. And we got to find our mismatch. And we got a guy guard right lean at 6'6", 6'7". I mean, you got to be the point guard, but you got to understand when guys come in here, you got to pass the ball to the guy, man, who's open. What you mean, coach? But you don't know what we mean, man. Come on, sit down and watch the other guy do it.
You figure it out.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And then you say, okay, coach, I understand. But guys, man, don't want to work hard. They only want to work hard when the camera's on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I think you know what
you separate them guys real quick. Them kids they gonna eventually gonna get out your program, or they're gonna be so upset because you're not gonna settle for that. And that's why we become who we are as good team, good coaches, but we got good peoples around us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good people. I think in this day and age, you need good peoples around you, not just good players. Because them good players gonna fail you, man. They gonna fail you because they don't know how to work hard because everybody ain't gave them everything.
Yeah,
that's but I think point. One of the things I was gonna say, and Mike was starting to say it, on each one of these guys here, we're the examples that we're talking about. Because when we talk about hard work, many people see us and they see our teams and they say, oh man, I could win the state championship with that team. Oh, I can win a game with that team. It requires a lot of hard work, and that hard work is not simply by the 5 of us on this program. All of our staff, I can tell you, everybody on Mike's staff, I know them all because they're the same people. Everybody on Lou's staff, they're the same people. Everybody on Nick's staff, because they're the same people. Everybody on Rob's staff, because they're the same people. Everybody on my staff, they're the same people. And there's a consistency, and the consistency lends well to hard work because those guys are willing to show up. Really, they're volunteers. By best example, they show up and they go to work, and that's the example that we want to get to these kids. We show up every day, willing to work, and we're working when we're not there. So for all those people that say, "Oh man, they playing in the big game again," there's a reason for that. Why? Because the coaches work hard. The staffs work hard, and the kids invariably are infected by the work that the coaches do, and then they work hard. This doesn't happen accidentally, guys. It doesn't happen accidentally.
And I want to say this:
those guys on the screen are not here accidentally.
Right. And I want to say this because people always ask me. They always ask me, "You're gonna win every time in 2A." I said, "Well, you know, I've been in 3A. I've been in 3A before, and I went downstate 2 years in 3A." Unfortunately, I lost to Nick and Charlie Moore and them downstate for 2 years. I was down there.
You had a damn suit on, Lou.
I had a suit on.
You had a suit on. Hey, Lou, I told you gonna come out that suit.
And I did everything. I did everything that the people wanted me to do. Look like I was supposed to be on TV with a suit on. You know, tie up to my throat, couldn't breathe, couldn't move. You know what I mean? But I understood that. But this is one thing I'm getting at though. When people say, "Well, you know what? You got to come up to 2A and 3A." Well, get off 800 kids, and I can move up. How you want me to do it?
Right.
See, people fail to realize Tom Kleinsmith was 3A with me. Right. He was 2A with me. He was 2A. He petitioned to go up to 3A. It's a reason he petitioned to go up. Nobody said anything about that because he in 2A, he got to beat Orr in 2A. So he went 3A and he get down straight the back way. No one never said anything about that. But with me, you want me to go to 3A and I got 290 kids. No, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And Cox told me something a long time ago. If you keep winning 2A, don't go to 3A. That makes sense to me. So I'm gonna stay where I'm at.
But you know another reason why I never went up to 4A. They kept saying petition go up, petition go up. I'll petition to go up, and it's not gonna be that but one city school going down.
Yeah, and the other thing too, Nick, is that I played 3A because I played Mike Oliver, he 4A. I played Tyrone, he 3A. Everybody in my conference is a 3A school.
Right.
Yeah.
So what am I gonna do that for?
Right.
Well, but Lou, but the other thing, Lou, you have to remember, if you go back to 2017, the last time I won the state championship, I'm the unified champion because I beat you, I beat Nick, and I beat Rob that year. So I was a unified champ. I was the 4A champ, and I beat all of y'all. So I was a unified champ. I own that belt. Nick. Give me that belt, baby.
Yeah, you want your belt back.
But you know, also too, Ty, is that I played you in a 2A school, played a 4A school in at a Proviso West in a holiday tournament. So I was just telling them how good a 2A school sometimes.
Carvel. Let's get back to Carvel now. Let's go. Come on, Carvel. You got questions.
Hey, so
come on, Carvel. Let's go. KD.
Come on, Carvel.
Who won, Lou?
Because I beat Nick the year before, so we don't have to talk about that.
Guys, I'm on my way to Memphis now, so I don't know how long I'm gonna be, but we're going fishing. I'm eating down in Tunica, Mississippi, so I'll be leaving here pretty shortly, guys.
Hey, so let
bring
me
some of that catfish back, boy.
You already know it.
Let me ask this question because Ty talked about it, and as Mike said, you got to have good people around you, not just great players. You all have had some amazing staff, around you, and again, as y'all said earlier, you all, anybody may see any of y'all at a freshman game, at a sophomore game. Even if the varsity is not there. But can you talk about the importance of, and especially for the younger coaches, let's talk to the coaches right now. How do you guys, because I personally believe that head coaches are only as good as they assistant coaches.
That's true.
So can you all talk about how do you pick those right people? Because, everybody wanted, the same way that Rob said, everybody can't play at Simeon. Everybody can't play at Curie, Morgan Park, or at Whitney Young. But everybody can't coach there either. So can you all talk about how you match up the people that because the lower levels are really the most important levels. Let's be honest with it. It's a lot of gym teachers failing these kids. It's a lot of lower level coaches that's failing these kids. But how do you all go about picking those right people? And not just the blood suckers that say, "Ooh, man," as Coach V say, like polo shirt wear. They just want to wear that polo shirt, that nice orange Whitney Young shirt, and say, "Hey, I'm on Whitney Young staff." So how do y'all go about picking great assistants?
Well, with me, I've been knowing my staff for a long time. I had an outside prior relationship with them, but beyond basketball. So, it's important that you get people that's around you that you trust. Because at the end of the day, they got to have the same mind frame as you with these kids because they're important.
Yeah.
So, I man, like it was a blessing to have my brother on staff with me.
I'm glad you left, Nick.
I know. Yeah. He was a blessing because he coached college. He helped me and guided me through a lot of things.
Yeah.
And when things got rough, he always said, "Calm down, take a breath. I know you want to do this." No, he used to calm me down a lot. So, it was a blessing to have him on my staff for 5 years, 6 years, and I had Terry Johnson for 10 years with me. Yeah. So, Terry Johnson, a big part of my success. He been there for me. Like I said, we had a prior relationship outside of basketball. You know, that's my brother. So you got to have guys around you could trust.
But for me, guys, like my AD has been 100 with me, man. He brought me through a lot. You know, like I said, I had good administrative team around me. My coaches, Phil, been with me forever. Carlos been with me forever since he left Terry Head. God, thank God for that. But I love Terry Head. Now we got a young coach in Wendell, which is going to be a great coach at some point in time. Hopefully, I'll be done here pretty soon, and he can pick up where I left off at. But I've been had people around me that's been good. Jamar really was good, you know, in his own right. But I love Twin.
Yeah.
It's just again, like you said, again, it's a lot of things come in play with having a great team and a good coach. Like you have to start with the teachers too. Like the teachers play a big part in trying to get your players together and helping you with it. The lunchroom staff, like my whole school is like family. It's always been like that. You know that, Mr. Bailey. So it just ain't about me. It's about my whole school. You know, even the kids, coaching the kids, sometimes or teaching the kids. You know, helping each other. You know, tutoring. So it's been a lot. It's been a lot with me.
Well, with me, I've been really blessed, man, to have the staff I had. First of all, everybody on my staff played for me or played with me. Me and Larry played high schools together. We played college together. We came into Curie together. We all went to Curie. And then, you know, the staff I have on the lower level with J.O., my nephew, me, Cal, Devin Foster, all played for me. And I always tell people, one of Curie's biggest success is we have relationship with former players and former players' families sending their kids back. But I don't know nobody worked harder than my nephew J.O. Man, you could call J.O. and ask him about fifth grade or sixth grade. He's gonna say, "Yeah, I know who you talk about. Such over there." He is a gym rat, and probably his best friend is Tyrone Slaughter. So they always at it. He said, "Well, I can't let Ty beat me to the gym." So them young guys, man, they just J.O. gonna be a great coach, man. I don't know what level he gonna coach at. Probably college for high school. But they just dedicated, man. And the difference between a lot of coaches, staff, and then my staff, we believe in Curie. We all want Curie alumni of Curie. So we don't just want the team to be successful. We want the school to be successful. And that's what helped us out a whole lot. Our whole staff is Curie alums. And our young guys, man, they work hard. J.O. work hard because he loved to talk. He liked to talk a lot and brag. So that's one good thing we have, man. But you know, people was wondering, like, man, how Curie gonna be? You know, Mike had his situation, he went down, but them guys just, you know, they knew what to do. They just stepped right on in and just do what they do everything. Is this coach because they know the system. Our whole system is ran the same way from freshie all the way up to varsity. It's just a different person standing there. But we all got the same idea, and our same idea. We're not trying to backstab each other because we don't want to be the next Curie coach. We want to wait till the next guy done, and then we're gonna get our chance. So that's
when you guys
go and take,
when you guys go somewhere and get Villanova, then why y'all just bring everybody on staff? That makes sense. Send one of these guys at one of these big major colleges, and all four just come on staff. I'd be assistant coach.
They'll never let us do that, Lou, because we'll be on probation because we're going to cheat.
Well, you're going to have to do that to win anyway. Calipari
do it by saying. They know that. They know that. So that never happens.
But I think it's loyalty too, because you know, Coach Andre Bell was on. That's the Tennessee Tech, and you know, I didn't know, but Dre said on the show when he left Mobley, he called J.O. and said, like, I already talked to the coach. You can have this job, but J.O. wanted to stay loyal to not only but to what you all were building and continuing to build at Curie. And I think that says a lot about him as well as just what y'all, you know, putting together. Ty or Rob, y'all got anything, you know, about like the importance of good assistants?
I mean, well, you know what? In my program, I'll let you go, Rob. I'll let you go, Rob.
Well, the thing about it is consistency, and you got to have some guys who are loyal to you.
Yes. Yeah.
I've had a numerous of guys who went off to be, they head coaches now.
Yeah.
But they were loyal while they were there.
Yeah.
That was huge to our program. And, I probably got a couple guys who can probably be varsity coaches, but they content to where they're at and they like what they're doing. And it goes back to what we all been talking about. It's the stability. Me and Thomas, we've been together since day one. He was the first person I called when I got the job. And when I'm not there and when I got sick, I was comfortable with him being the coach.
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about, man, do I got to rush back and
right. Exactly.
hold down? Is it not going to be the same? We got the same values. We got the same ideas. We kind of similar as people. He's a little tighter on that playing time with certain people than I am. But the fact of him understanding the system and knowing what's going on is huge. So, and like all the other guys said, that starts from the lower level. Our lower level guys play the same way. They do the same things. We give our guys, our coaching staff, our young guys, the opportunity to do some of their own things too. But this is a program, and that's what it is on this screen. Everybody on this screen has a program. They don't have a team.
Yeah.
So
that's a
the
difference
guys
too.
at the lower level are running, pretty much the same stuff as the varsity guys are running. So when they get there, they're prepared to just be able to fill into that spot and run it.
Yeah.
And all this stuff is volunteer. I spent, a whole lot of work doing it, off season and all those type of things. And there's no accident that the guys who winning are winning.
Absolutely.
That's just not an accident. That's not on why the guys are winning who are winning, because they putting in the work and their staff is putting in the work. And people always say, well, why you got so many people? Because I need them. I can't do this by myself. It's not just me. Well, Carvel, you've been to my practice. If you came in and didn't know who I was, you wouldn't even know I was the coach.
Wouldn't know, yeah.
Because
that's a program.
I let those guys do what they're good at doing. I can't take nobody in the weight room. I'm not a weight guy. I don't like weights. That's not my thing. So I'm not finna go in there and act like I'm a weight guy. But the
head coach has to be comfortable and confident in them too, as Mike said, not knowing that you don't want my job, or like you say, Rob, being able to give that little leeway and that freedom, because you're confident in what you do. And for the record, and I brought it up when Rob was on. Rob said, Ty, that he ain't won since Schofield left. So he got to try to get Sco out of retirement.
Well, let me just say this. Schofield is doing a great job at Longwood. Stay at Longwood.
He's not done no more time.
Oh my God. But let me say this. I think all of these guys, you don't get to this level unless you have great staff. Just there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. We can sit here and think that we the greatest coach to ever walk a sideline, but at the end of the day, it's all those other guys that actually drive us to where we are. And in our program, we don't have assistants. We just have coaches. These are guys that are coaching. And I think to all of our young coaches out there, for me, and maybe I've never been in one of Rob's practices, but you can come into my practice and there's a practice plan and our coaches know what it is. Everybody knows what we're trying to get done. Let's go out and get it done. I don't want my voice to be the only voice that they hear. Our coaches, I want my coaches to be sponges and not loofahs. I want them to absorb all of the information, and I want them to go out, and I want them to drive the program. Because at the end of the day, what I really want, when am I successful? When my kids go to college, when my coaches go on to do other things. I've had 3 coaches that go on to be head coaches. I was fortunate enough to go out and have Coach Shin, who's now at Illinois, a big-time college coach. He coached with us. And what I tell people is as high school coaches, as college coaches, our job is to identify talent. And talent is not simply in the players, but it's equally in the people that we hire to help drive our programs. Everybody doesn't have the same seat on the bus. Everybody doesn't. And the people that you hire, or the people that I hire, every one of them has value and their values are different values.
Yeah.
They can all have a common desire, but they have different values. I want people around me on my coaching staff that make me better. I want coaches on my coaching staff that have differences of opinions, but not differences of agendas. Our agenda has to be the same. Our opinions can be different. And we have that. We have honest, good banter and debate, but ultimately we have to do what's best for the young people and the program. I think I'll say to anybody, I'm comfortable not being the leading dog in my program, because at the end of the day, I'm the only dog in my program. Everybody knows who the head coach is. Yeah. Everybody gets to make suggestions. I have to make decisions. Right. People make suggestions, I make decisions, because when it's all said and done, win or lose, whether it was a good call that you came up with, they give me the credit and I give it back to you. If it's a bad call and you called it, they blame me for it. I take it and I keep on going. I don't get to say, oh man, that was Coach John that drew that play up that didn't work. No, I can't do that. Why? Because I'm the lead dog. And so I think so for young coaches, and I'm gonna leave on this. It is the same thing I said when I was a manager, and I tell all coaches, all players, make yourself valuable. What is your value? What value do you bring to this program? If you are a coach on my staff and you can't do anything to make us better, then you probably won't be on our staff long. And I'll tell you, I have had some phenomenal coaches. I've had coaches that Coach Bush, who was with me for many, many years, he was like a mentor to me on the bench. Like Nick said, his brother kept him calm. Bush would keep me calm. Because when I first started, I was out of control, completely out of control. And Bush would just kind of calm me down and say, Tyrone, that's freaking stupid what you're doing. And I could take it. Why? Because I had tremendous respect for him. I had Coach Raul, a guy that was phenomenal with young people, a trainer, a kid that loved coaches. I mean, outstanding. Why? These were people that made me better. And all I want to do is be better. I had Coach Rick. He gave me something that I will give to every coach. And it's funny because Nick, Lance, and I talk about it all the time. HOR. HOR. And people say, what are you talking about? I'd rather be happy over right. I'd rather be happy over right.
Hey, Nick,
I spent a lot of years trying to be right. I've too many years trying to be right. And shoot, I was unhappy. So I learned so much from so many of the coaches. The young coaches I have today, I mean, a lot of the stuff that you all might see that we do on social media, that has nothing to do with me. That's all my young coaches who are forcing me to get better. And that's what I need. I need people around me to make me better, and hopefully I can make them better also.
Yeah, I like they were saying, I make my guys coach. I don't want to be in there just doing all the talking. So sometimes I go sit on the side so they can learn and coach. I had I brought a few back from my past teams. DeLon, he used to, I used to tell him, man, you got to coach the freshman team and you got to get to know the guys more. And then I had Coach Q, Kwan Dusumu, Ayo's dad. And the thing what he did, he used to, talk to the guys, calm them down, and be like, this was Nick trying to say.
Check over for.
Everybody knows the role. Everybody knows the role.
Yeah, like Chris, he knew he was in charge of scouting. Him and AJ, they're in charge of scouting. They're in charge of this and that, because we can't do everything by ourselves. And you as good as your assistant coaches.
Absolutely.
If your assistant coaches ain't good, you ain't gonna be good.
I want to say, Nick, to you, man, I'm proud of you, man. I haven't got a chance to really see you. We talked a few times, but I'm proud of you, man. You do a great job down there. I'm glad you're out the way. You was moving me up on our fire list. I'm getting up there a little bit. I'm the number 2-3 man. I say so I'm up there now. I get close I get a little closer now on the coaching list. Behind Mike now. Getting up there a little bit. So when somebody else go, I'm gonna move up a little bit more because I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna be here for a minute. But on the most serious side though, Nick, I'm proud of you. If I got any prayer that you can ever get, man, our job is to help you become a great coach. You touch our lives as well as the kids. So you'll do well in Chicago about scouting. It's up to us to make you a great coach. And you got you got your back 110%. You'll do well down there.
That's well said, Lou. And speaking of the lower level, so I'm gonna tell y'all a story. So we played Inglewood when Lou was there. When I was at Hyde Park, the Red East was a battle. each and every night. But just going back to where, you know, how I said, y'all have helped shape communities and help change not only kids, but people within those communities. So Lou had a set of twins. And I don't know if any of y'all, you know, remember the
I
two
know
twins. And yeah, and you know, so they came over to Hyde Park, you know, and they beat us bad because you know we like Inglewood. They ain't okay. And you know, Lou had them going. And so that was really my first time saying, okay, I'm gonna watch film and I'm about to scout what they doing. And we watched film, we had a walkthrough. It was like whole college deal, right? And so we played them. Now we go to Inglewood, second half of the conference, and we beat them. And you know, the emotions from the twins, obviously, you know, they were, you know, didn't want to hear nothing, didn't want to see nothing. But this is when I knew that it was bigger than basketball with Lou. Because Lou, we in the locker room. You know, I had Fabian Harris on that team, you know, Martell Jackson, and Lou brought them in the locker room. And only Lou and Miss Foster, when Miss Foster was at Brooks with Chris and Miss Foster did it too. But Lou brought them in the locker room, and Lou talked to them literally like they were his sons about like his disappointment because they didn't shake hands. He wasn't disappointed that they lost. He was disappointed about the sportsmanship. Lou, you remember what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
And he was more disappointed in the sportsmanship or the character that they display afterwards. So when you know, we talk about having good people, you know, having good people around us. Mm-hmm. And you know, the same thing that we do when we come in, you know, as vendors and with our character development. But can y'all talk about the importance of students being able to, and I'm saying students, not just you know, athletes, but student athletes having good character to be able to deal with, and as Mike said earlier, the adversity, because adversity will come, building that program or not building that program. So can y'all talk about the importance of having good character?
Let me go first, because I want to say this, and I'm in a tough neighborhood, but I would say this, and I played Whitney Young and I played Curie, and I'll say this about my student body, about my community. I have to say this because people on the outside looking in don't have not one clue about Orr, because they're thinking about the neighborhood. They're not thinking about the school. You know, they're not thinking about it. You always talk about the neighborhood. I've been there 13 years, and I've been a coach for 13 years. We have never had one incident with somebody fighting another team at my school. Not one. You can go back to whoever. When y'all come there and have not one problem. We have good hospitality at Orr. I'm talking about our kids know how to be kids. You would be surprised how good the neighborhood is, how good my student body is, how good my teachers are, because people really don't know about Orr. They really don't know. That's one reason that I won't leave. I play Mike and I play Ty all the time. They come in at Orr. No, and you know, we're in some of the toughest neighborhood of this. Chicago Avenue is a rough neighborhood.
Yeah.
We have not one incident, and thank God for that, about our school, you know, being on the news about fighting at some basketball game. Our kids know how to act, because they, for one, they don't want to disappoint me. They don't want to disappoint the principal. They don't want to disappoint the AD. They don't want to disappoint themselves.
Yeah.
They know how to act. And I got to take my hat off to our kids. And Mike and Ty, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, and let me say, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I always tell the guys, man, because, you know, I'm like that Southwest over there where, you know, where people, none of our kids live in that neighborhood. And I say, man, when you come to Curie, you got to have character, man. You got to, first of all, you got to be doing the right thing at all times, because everybody know you.
Yeah.
They know you're supposed to be over here because this ain't your community. You know, second, I always want to make that trip back to the west side of Chicago to play in them environments where we don't get a chance to play in it. People look at, Curie, you got 3,000 students. Man, I know y'all game be packed 500, 600, 700, 800 people there every night. We don't have that support from our student body because that's not their community. So when I take my team, I say, man, we're going to go over and we're going to play Lou Adams at Orr. We're going to go North Londale and play North Londale at North Londale. So when we get ready to go down the street to Bogan or Simeon Morgan Park,
you know what's coming.
Scared.
Yep.
We ain't scared.
Yeah.
A lot of kids will say, or parents will say, man, you crazy. Why you taking your kid over there to Chicago Avenue and play Lou? What y'all getting out of that? Man, me and Lou play every year. And I have to remind them kids, Lou kids and Curie kids probably sleep in the same house the whole weekend.
Yep.
Yep.
So what make y'all think y'all better than the kids at war because y'all go to school on the south side of Pulaski?
Mm-hmm.
These kids be together all summer, all winter long. Rob kids, Morgan Park kids, Bogey kid, Curie kid, Summer Winya. I look up, I see Sponge with Rob Mean. What y'all doing together?
Yeah.
And I called Mark. We just lost. What you doing? I ain't gonna call Mike tonight. I'm gonna wait till the morning. You doing too much now. Wait till the morning.
See, but that build character, because when kids understand, man, this ain't nothing but a basketball game.
Yeah.
But you got to deal with this kid the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's why when we go, man, me and Luda, we don't have all them red jackets, them security and all the police.
Mm-hmm.
All they do is cause trouble.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times the security cause more trouble than because they don't know the kids is best friends. So soon they get into it, they get to doing a little of that trash talking, they get in each other's face. I say, man, you ain't got to talk to them. They gonna ride home together.
Yeah.
And just like my kid, man, I'll never forget. We playing Lou about 3 years ago. Ramin go down there, and he might hit 2 or 3 in a row. He comes past that other bench and do something over there, and Lou looked at him. I said, Lou, don't worry about it, I got him. I said, hey, you know what you just did? He said, yeah, I know what I did. I said, you can't know what you did. You over there talking them guys, them guys don't play like that. He said, what you talk about, Coach? Like, I came with them guys. And I didn't know that, but it's just the point where Lou said, oh, no, he all right.
Even when I had Cliff, when I had Kizo and I had Kizo, you had Cliff. We played in the summer tournament at the Quest. Kizo and Cliff with the whole team from Indiana together.
With the whole team. You remember that time, Rob, when that team, when they came across, they try to jump on somebody. Nick, you was down there too. All of them was down there. I forgot who team camp was. And this guy gonna talk about we'll be back. Man, we had Morgan Park kids, Curie kids, Oak kids.
I think it was
all of them whooping on that guy, man.
Where you going?
And then we had one guy down there, a grown man down there choking one of the players. Man, I picked up the water cooler, man. I couldn't get it all. Lou and them guys, they said, man, you can't do that.
You can't do that, Mike. You can't do this.
You can leave our kids in the gym with each other, man.
Yeah.
You don't know who coaching because everybody could talk to them kids.
Yeah,
now
like you say,
the
Ty,
relationships.
Yeah, for Ty, now my kid ain't gonna sleep in the same bed as Ty kid because we. Now let's get some straight. We ain't gonna go that far. Let's get some straight. We got too many bears in the house. We ain't gonna come down to the basketball game. You know what I mean? It's all in fun. Like I said again, like the public of Chicago really don't understand. We so far, but we so close.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody want to win, but again, like I said again, we call each other on the phone all the time, and the public can think however they want to think. They're gonna do the naysayers, whoever. But like I said again, Mr. Bailey told me about the panel today. I had no problem with doing it. Like, okay, because we don't see each other that much. Like I said, the best time for me is during the Christmas time, and I can go see these teams play. I don't get a chance to see Rob practice, or Mike practice, or Ty, or Nick. The only time I might see them is the beginning of the season, some Christmas tournament. That's the best part of the season because I get a chance to, see these guys play. We never see each other play unless we playing each other. It's a joy watching these guys coach, man. It's a joy from learning from them. It's a joy from being in a great company that these guys have taught us.
But Lou, like me and Ty and Nick, we've been doing a little podcast, and Mike was on with us 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get our competitive nature mixed up with us not liking each other.
Friendship.
They don't know, Coach.
We want to win, so we competitive against each other.
Mm-hmm.
But once that horn go off at the end, we back to normal men chopping it up. Like, man, that
Yeah.
play there. If I would have did this different, if you'd have did that different, and that, you know, I just got tired of start talking to me after his games if he lost.
Yeah, well,
I used to have to give him, at least 24 hours. I had to give 24 hours before I could call him. Now he had called me right up.
Yeah, well,
You know what?
like, hey.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
Yeah.
Come on, Rob.
Well, one thing I can say about Ty always, one thing I can tell you about Ty always took care of me. You know, he said again, you have to have a good assistant. When he was the manager at Dominic, you know who was his bag boy? I was at Dominic in Melrose Park for Ty. Ty was at Whitney Young with A.J. Robinson. I beat him at Inglewood. So he always took care of me.
Yeah.
He always took care of me.
Hey, well, you know and
what?
Go ahead, Ty.
You guys can't keep on doing this to me now, Rob. Now, hold on now. I call you. You call me after you lose. I call you after I lose. It's not a problem.
Now.
It's okay. Well,
now.
I mean, hell. When you were beating me so many times in a row, I couldn't just keep on calling you. What are you talking about? But I think, Mark Carvel, when you talk about character, that really is the character right there. And I think a lot of times before the game, this is the part I love though. Before the game, when we don't speak to each other, when everyone is in their pregame mode, or they're, you know, Rob sits on the bench before he don't get up, and he sits on the bench. He's down there. I'm sitting on the other end. It's the people think, oh man, they don't like each other. Or when Nick is on his end and he's sweating, the game hasn't even started yet. He's already sweating. I mean, Nick has the most incredible pregame workout of any coach I've ever coached against. I mean, or you go and you play Lou, and he's in your coaching box in his gym. He's in your coaching box, okay? And Lou now, and let me say this, Lou says he's never had a fight in his gym, and he's right. But now they will possibly have a problem with the clock every now and then. There might be a malfunction in the clock. There might be a malfunction, but it won't be no fights. And they always take care of you. And they got the best concession stand when you go to Orr. It is no doubt about it. The best concession stand. And you know, I think really for all of us, again, we keep on talking about the models that we set for the young guys.
Yeah.
Just like we're on here tonight talking and laughing and joking, even when we're getting ready to play each other in the Final Four, the battle on Vincennes, or Curie versus Morgan Park, or Curie versus Bogan, when it's over, hey, most of these guys are hanging out together. Yeah. Because why? It's about more than just us winning a game. It's about the competition, of course. It's about the camaraderie, of course. But more than anything else, it's about the kids. It's about the kids, and we have to model what we want the kids to be.
Ty, I love to see you, Ty. I love to see you, Ty, come to the den. I love to see you come to the den, Ty.
Hey, y'all, but you know what?
To the den game.
No, but I told Rob this. You all always have stuff, and y'all don't invite me. It's all right.
Ty, you ain't coming to the den. You ain't coming
Hey,
to
well,
the den.
Lou.
I don't know what the den is. Where's the
Hey, Lou. So Ty done already said that he a house head, right? This is how it started.
House head.
He already broke it
He's
down.
going to the house picnic. Ty ain't going nowhere. He ain't going to no house picnic.
They canceled the house picnic. The corona stopped us. They ain't having no corona picnic.
Hey, but so I think that as Ty was saying, all y'all are friends, right? You know, all y'all genuinely like one another, but there is a little bit of jockeying, if it's pregame, gamesmanship, whatever you might want to say, to be able to get an edge, because you understand that when y'all play each other, you're gonna get the best out of yourself that night. Yeah, I mean, am I correct?
With these guys, you can't really get no edge because they know you. They know how you trade.
But you know, you always like, if Ty play, if we're in the Red West, I'm looking to see who Ty play, and I got to see what's going on with Ty's schedule. The non-coverage I really don't care about. You know, he went to Great Britain, Guam. He go all over the world. I don't need to worry about that. But he playing Northern Ireland and Marshall. I gotta always check in to see the box scores.
Yeah.
You know, if he lose one game, I got an edge. You know what I mean? I really won by. You know what I mean? So it was just so. It's just so much, man. It's small, but again, like I said again, I look and see these guys' schedule when they're playing. was all fun and fun for me.
And all honesty, Lou, and so you know, my wife graduated from Whitney Young. You know, she used to always tell me like, you know, okay, when y'all gonna play Whitney Young? When y'all gonna play Whitney Young? This is when, you know, Ty was on the sophomore level, and you know, Ty would come to the game, you know, in his travel suit, right? You know, they on the sophomore level. Ty got his travel suit on. The game start. Ty done flipped. You know, he, you know, dressed up, got his
KD, go get it.
So, you got them Gucci's on.
You can go get it, man.
So we at the McCormick place, you know, getting ready to play, you know, in the Christmas tournament. I'm like, man, I finally get a chance to play Ty, you know, man. And, you know, so again, gamesmanship, you know, and as Ty said, when he first started, he was boisterous, you know, a little bit, you know, all that. And y'all know that Ty has dropped so many nuggets tonight, but, you know, he always got something quick. So I, you know, walk past and we getting ready, you know, and I'm like, Ty, man, how you feeling? He gonna say, with my hands. Ooh, I was so mad, man. I was pissed off. With my hands. I'm like, man, this dude, okay, for real. Totally took me out what I was getting ready to do, right, Lou? So, you know, Ty and them beat us maybe by about 12, 14 points, and you know, he ain't let up. After the game, to your point, Lou, about you and Mike's, you know, players. After the game, man, I see one of my players walking with his girlfriend like 5 minutes after the game was over. Man, I put him off the team so fast because I'm like, okay, this can't mean more to me
than it do to you.
Than it mean to you.
Yeah.
So can you guys talk about that? Because, you know, that's probably when we bring the stress home, when we know that it's affecting, that we care more than they do.
I mean, my first time going downstate, I called Rob and I talked to Ty, I talked to Mike. My very first time I went down there. And I was just down there on a celebration. And my players was down there on a celebration too. We just celebrated. We was just down there. We didn't, you know, we was just down there. And after the game, on my way walking, that's a long walk back from the game to the hotel.
The tunnel.
And I found myself, you know, kind of weak. And they called me, Rob, like, you know, we're gonna have some more times. But I understood my players was only doing what I did. I had no discipline. They had no discipline. You know what I mean? And that hurt us.
Yeah.
But every time since then, and I took a page out of the coach's book, Tyrone and Rob and Mike. We take telephones. I take phones. You know, and we've been successful. Like I said again, we lose a game, and soon the game over, they grab their phones. They love them phones.
Yeah.
So even now, when home games on the bus, I take phones. You don't get your phone till the game is over, till we through talking.
Yeah.
Because they will get them phones. They love them phones. So I take them phones, and I've learned. Yeah. That was one thing I did.
Coach Hamrick told me that when I first started. And that was one of the things he stressed to me. It's like, you can't want this more than they do.
Yeah.
You know, they got to want this, and you can't want it more than them, you know. And a lot of times you have to instill that into them from the beginning. Like, you know, at this point in my career, and I'm pretty sure these other guys, I tell the kids I already won them. I got mine already. If I don't win another one, I'm fine. It's some people did this 30-something years and never won one. So I'm good with not, if it don't happen, it don't happen. Yeah. You guys are the ones who trying to get them now.
Yeah.
So you got to want this more than I do.
Yeah.
You know, you got to put in the work. You got to put in the effort. You got to do everything you got to do if you're trying to get one of these rings I got.
Right.
You know.
So Rob,
it's very important that they understand that.
You know who was a great example for my program, man? You know, Hambrit and Simeon guys, because you know every year we go to the same Christmas tournament. So we all go down to Pontiac. You got Super 8 across the street. Then you got the nice fancy hotel, Quality Inn and Best West and all that on the other side.
Yeah.
So we used to always go down there, and when you get to practice, they give you your hotel assignment.
Yeah.
So my guys and the fans would say, well, why Simeon stay in the Best Western or the nice hotel, and we always in the hotel that burnt down, or it just burnt down, or it was raggedy and the water was running? I say, because Simeon and them guys are selling more tickets than us because they always playing in that last game. So they got to make sure they taking care.
Yeah.
Because they going to be there a little longer than us. So we used to always lose the first game and play for the fifth or sixth, seventh place cancellation. So I told him one day, we rolled by, I told him, get out. Put my guys out the out the van, and let them walk up in the Best West, look how nice it is. I say, nah, if y'all want to stay in here or a nice hotel, y'all got to start winning some more games, man. Y'all can't go down and go 2-2.
Right.
We got to start winning. And so that's when I realized, man, that some of them guys just didn't care, man, about winning or losing. Soon the game was over. Before we could get out the court into the locker room, they got their jogging suit on. They nice jogging suit, and they put the joints back on. They got their earrings put on. I say, man, we ain't even talk yet, and you fully dressed. I said, get out of the locker room, man. You ain't with us.
Yeah.
I said, because the guys who really care, they still got their motherfucking
they hurt.
uniform on just in case somebody made a mistake on the score, and they said, come on back out here and play over.
Right.
But you got some kids, man.
Yeah.
You could go out there and you could talk to the newspaper. 3 minutes later, you walk in the middle of the locker, they fully dressed.
Yeah. It
So
didn't mean nothing to them.
I said, if you dress and you got your cell phone already, you trying to do something. You trying to record what we saying, or you got somewhere to be that's way more important than being in here. So go ahead.
Yeah.
Don't leave the locker room. Go and do what you need to do.
Yeah.
That's when you find out the kids really want it more than you.
Absolutely.
How they act after the game.
Nick, Ty, let me ask y'all this question. And it sounds so easy. What does it really take to win?
Discipline.
I love that.
Take discipline to win. If you don't have no discipline, you ain't winning nothing.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, you got to have discipline, heart, desire. You got to be motivated. You know, motivation. But it's definitely it's discipline. If you don't have no discipline, it's over.
I think we can throw out a lot of words, a lot of superlatives about it. But for me, and I think Mike kind of spoke to it a little bit about, wanting to win more. But the big thing is you have to have a vision. You have to actually have a vision. I tell people all the time, every single year, and I'm sure everybody on this podcast, they come in every year, the first day of practice, and they're talking about winning a state championship. There's not one of these coaches that come in and start talking about, let's try to win 15 games this year.
Right.
That's probably not ever part of the conversation.
Yeah.
When your roster is stacked, or when you just have an average team. Why? Because there's a vision. And in that vision, all those other things have to fall in place. You have to have people that are committed. You have to have people that are willing to work hard. You have to have people that are willing to buy into what the objectives are. And if all those things fall into place, winning is what's going to happen. If you do all these things, the end result is going to be victory. But you have to have the vision. And what is that saying? The people that have no vision will perish. The same thing about your program and your team. If you don't have a vision, you're going to perish. And
I love that.
And I'm going to say this. You're talking about Lou was talking about cell phones. I tell my guys all the time, you can't have a cell phone when we're going to war. You can't have a cell phone you can't have one on the battlefield. So I take all the cell phones away, and they know it's coming. And after the game, everything is tied to that cell phone. Hey, we have to hold them to 50 points, or you all only get your cell phone for 30 minutes. Oh, and if we don't win, it's not even assistant even looking for the cell phone, because I'm of the mindset, I don't have fun when I'm losing. So you can't have any fun with your cell phone.
Absolutely.
You can't have, that's what you want to have fun? Good. Go out there and win. And now, winning doesn't always mean by the score. Sometimes you lose, but you play great. That's not a loss.
What time do you take your cell phones?
Let's see. If we get to the hotel, if we play tomorrow at 7, we get to the hotel at 6. They have them till 10, and they're gone. They don't get them back until after the game. The parents don't call me. I had one time, the funniest thing, and I told Lou this, I had a girlfriend call me. I could not believe it. I'm like, are you kidding me? She said,
she wasn't no way yet, huh?
Like, oh, that was the craziest thing in the world. But I tell people this is something that Actually, a guy I knew told me this, and it stuck with me forever. And it's why I take cell phones, because we're on business trips. These are all business trips. He told me he said he has learned more from his losses than he had from his victories. Yeah. And my losses early on told me you can't serve two masters. And I take them really, and I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound bad, but it's really not so much about their friends. A lot of times I don't want it for the parents. Yeah. I mean, because the parents spend a lot of times, I saw the game online. You didn't play as much as Rob. Why didn't you play? You should have been playing. I don't want to deal with that. I want that young man to have a clear mind, a clear focus on what the objectives are at hand, and then go do it. Then go play. Then go play the game. And if we win, we win. If we lose, we'll be able to say you were not distracted. But we cannot have. We don't have fun. I don't have fun when we lose. I don't know how people are laughing, joking on the back of the bus after you got beat and you should have won. Now, I don't understand that one. I understand that one.
Yeah. Rob, you want to add anything to that?
I mean, I kind of picked up the cell phone thing from Ty on a road trip, and we kind of enforced it since then. You know, it's important. I mean, and we all guilty of it. These cell phones that's how we strive right now, you know. So these guys in the rooms, and they own them, and they on social media, and they playing their games on them, and all those type of things, you know. But we kind of got the same thing as those guys. I'm not as tough on it as Ty is, as far as when I'm giving them back, you know. But it's all the same thing when it comes to those things and those discipline. But you know, to be able to win, you definitely got to be disciplined. There will be some luck involved. People don't know that there will be some luck involved to be able to win it. You know, and always the best team doesn't always win. Yeah. You know, the best team doesn't always win. We've all had teams that we thought that probably was, you know, that team, and they did not win. You know, they just didn't win. You know. For whatever those reasons were, but they didn't win. So you gotta spend a lot of time. And I was fortunate, or I am fortunate to have the most out of the group. But they know even winning the ones that they got wasn't an easy task. Man, that's not an easy thing. I don't care if you. I always, when people say to me, "Well, you had Derrick Rose, so that's why you won." Well, Wolf had Kevin Garnett, and he didn't win. Right. And it had nothing to do with his coaching. It has to do with the matchup and all those type of things. Yeah. So it's been some other people who had some pros on their team and did not win. Yeah. You know, for whatever the reasons are. That just didn't happen. So it's not set up because you have one or two guys that's really good that's going to make you win. Yeah. Sometimes it's your role players that gets you over the hump. To have you to win. It's not always the star power. You know, sometimes it's the role players. Now, we all know when the game get on the line, who gonna have the ball. But, you know, it's not always like that. So we have to make sure and understand, and people just look at us like, well, you guys just gonna win. That's not necessarily always true. I mean, Ty and myself, and I don't know Nick and Michael or Lou's record. I just know from me and Ty, because we talked about it before. One year we had 9 losses going into the state playoffs. Yeah, wow. I remember we had 9 losses. We had to win 7 games to win the whole thing. We both ended up 25-9. He won it one year 25-9. I won it the next year 25-9. We had 9 losses, but that also was the part of our schedule. Yeah. How I
had 9 losses this year. I was all set up again. I was all set up. I had 9 losses.
I told you and Nick on the podcast last time.
And this was my
I only feel sorry for the kids. I only feel sorry for the kids that they get a chance to win a state championship.
I had 9 losses, and Mike beat me last year. It was my turn to beat him this year, and you stopped the season because you were mad because I beat you, and you said cancel the season.
Hey, that was my spill to my team this year. I said, we had 9 losses. I said, listen, man, Simeon and Whitney Young won the state championship with 9 losses. We're going to do the same. I'm going to be right next to him.
Hey,
Rob made the state cancel it. The state wanted to play, but Rob said cancel it. That's kind of power he's got. He can make it cancel.
Nick,
and Lou would have won 4 in a row. All that stuff can't happen, man.
Good job.
What'd you say, Mike?
Good job.
Them losses
So,
that Ty and Rob had at that, everybody who played them teams would have had them same losses. They ain't
Yeah.
lost to no average Joe.
Yeah.
They lost
Yeah.
to other pros. So I don't count their preseason record and how many losses they got, because if we played the schedule they, we probably would have had them 9 losses.
Not exactly.
Now,
But people don't understand that.
Right.
That's why I hate them preseason rankings and all that stuff.
yeah,
Because the guys who rank talk about they 30-1, they ain't playing the same team.
they ain't played nobody. Now, Rob was, talking about how the role players, help contribute to winning. What does it take to win? That was the question. But can you guys talk about the intangibles? And I know at one point in time they were doing something with Malcolm X gym, and we had to practice it. And Lou came and watched, and I'm like, damn, Lou, we talk all the time, but just him spending the time and coming and watching. And afterwards, he had talked to me about something I said, and he talks about it all the time. So Lou, I want you and Mike to kind of talk about those intangibles. Like those 50-50 balls, those taking that charge, getting on the ground for the loop, things that don't show up on the stat sheet.
Yeah.
Like, can you talk about how important that is to the momentum of being, as Rob said, being able to put you in position to where now that the man can kind of carry y'all over the hump?
Yeah,
I always do this, KB, is that with my guys, because we never have that, besides Cliff and that group, we never have the best player on the court most nights. So I got to tell my guys, we got to win the 50-50 balls. We got to out-hustle. We got to be tough. We got to have 5 guys boxing out or going to the offensive glass. But the most important thing, we got to be so unselfish. We got to be willing to make that next pass. When you got a good shot, you got to be willing to make sure we get a great shot. So that's the difference with some of these kids. A lot of kids, for instance, when we playing, we sacrifice good shots for great shots. And I look in the box score, and like the Dejuan Gordon we had 2 years ago, you'll look at this kid. We ain't had 3 or 4 All-Staters, and we ain't had a guy average 20 points in the last 5 years since Cliff left. But that's the intangible things I got to tell guys. We count charges. We give out awards for charges. We give out award for a loose ball.
Yeah.
So we don't call MVPs. I don't have an MVP. I have the most valuable player to the team. And that could be, did you take that charge when the game was on the line? Did you make that extra pass when you was open, but you looked at the corner and you seen another guy who hit 4 in a row and made that pass? Them the little things I look at when we watching films. But guys don't understand, man. All that comes into play when you got one goal and that's winning, and you're trying to win the big one. Like the guy said earlier, you got to be lucky, but you got to be disciplined. But the most important, you got to trust your teammates.
Well, Mike, for you, right? For you, Mike, and I always say this too. And you say, well, I don't know how we won a lot of games. How you won a lot of games, Mike? I'll tell you how you won a lot of games. Trey probably was the best point guard in Chicago. I mean, he was the definition of a point guard. Pass first. Wasn't no, he made sure your team go. He was the coach on the floor. Trey was
not to cut you off. I'm gonna let you go ahead and finish. We just talked about this on a podcast last week. About Trey Lane came up in that what you're saying about orchestrating the team and being a point guard. We just talked about this. We just talked about that the other day. But go ahead.
Trey could have ran any out of our 5 guys on this screen. He could have ran anybody's team. He was the most unselfish basketball player that I've been around a long time. He was the definition of a point guard. And I think for me, I had a guy on my team named Mike Taylor. He wasn't the best. He wasn't the best dressed. He wasn't the best looker. But he was the best player for what I was trying to do. Like Mike Taylor can all the 50-50 balls, all the loose balls. And for me, Mike Taylor had my locker room together. Our locker rooms be out of order.
Yeah.
Our locker room was together. That's a big part of our basketball now is the locker room. Getting that locker room together. That was a big part of our team is making sure our locker room good. When your locker room
Break that down, Lou. Break that down,
Yeah,
so the people understand what you mean by having good locker room guys.
Well, those guys, a lot of time, those guys with my program, I'm gonna say with my program, those guys have fights about different girls and different things, about different phones, about different class, about what they wear, different phones. That's locker room. That's bad locker room talk. And they, you can be in a corner. I'm not gonna pass it to you because I'm mad about you beat me on the dice. You beat me to playing cards. We have those problems at all. So that's what I mean about locker room. And your locker room gotta be intact. They gotta be friends. Those guys gotta be friends, man. And right now you had Derek and Tim and Randy. Those guys friends to this day. Right, you had Cliff and Joseph. Those guys still friends. And then you had Wayne. Them boys still friends.
Yeah.
They still friends right now. That makes a difference.
Lou, you make a valuable point. In 2006, we don't win the state championship if it's not for Dexter Williams.
Yeah.
Dexter Williams started everybody who was the best player on the other team the whole state playoffs.
Yes.
Nobody knew his name.
Did everything that they needed to do for us to win as well. But he took on a responsibility that I'm going to guard the best player on the other team.
That's big.
And that helped us. Huh?
Where you from?
Oh, he's from Stone Town.
Them the guys don't nobody know about.
Right.
He's from Stone Town.
So when you saying role players, he took on a role. He did not start, but here's the other part of it. When I went and said earlier, everybody has to be on the same page. He did not start until we got to the state playoffs. And when we moved him in the lineup, the person who place he took did not have a problem with it. It wasn't like he took my spot. The parent didn't have a problem with it. I'm saying we didn't play 28, 29 games, and now you make a lineup change, but it was for the better of our team.
See,
was that hard to do, Rob? Was that hard to do? Was that hard to do at that point of the season?
No, because at the end of the day, it was either he was going to ride with it or he wasn't. The thing about it was we couldn't wait and let those guys get going.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We had to stop them early in the game. You're talking about Jacob Pullen. Yeah. You know, we can't let him, get going early. John Shire, he guarded. He what's the kid from Richards? Cody Yielder, he guarded. He had to go. We couldn't let them. You know how this game go. I get hot. I don't care who you put on me. Now it's over with.
Yeah,
and those guys who could do everything.
Also, too, Mr. Bailey, it's also too. It's like I tell people all the time. Like even with me in my building at my school, I have no business whatsoever going up to my English teacher room telling her how to run her class.
Right.
That ain't my job. I gotta know my role.
Yeah.
And your team gotta know their role. That's to figure out his role. Yeah. Everybody got a role. You just play your role. It'll run fine. Everybody do their role. Don't worry about the next man. A lot of my players say, well, you gotta cut to the basket. I'm not gonna cut because he ain't gonna pass it to me. That ain't your job. You just cut. Don't worry about him. Let me handle him. You do what you're supposed to do. And then it's gonna work out.
Go ahead, Nick.
You gonna handle him, Luke?
No, when I had my run in 2013. So I had Billy Garrett and Kyle Davis. So they was taking bulk of the shots, but I don't think I don't win without Josh Cunningham, Lamont Walker, and Marquis Williams. I don't win without them three because Marquis neutralized it. Billy Garrett and Kyle Davis. He sacrificed his game his senior year for us to win a state championship. Yeah. And
that's the point guard, right?
Yep. And Lamont took care of everything. He guarded all the best players. He didn't care about scoring. He didn't need no plays. He came to me and told me, and he was like, Nick, I just want to guard the best players. I don't need no shots. So guys like that you need on your team. And Josh Cunningham said, I'm gonna clean it up, but I had a 6'9" kid come off the bench, Xavier Taylor, and he was originally supposed to start. He came and told me before the season even started, hey, I'm going to come off the bench. I'm going to be the sixth man. I'm going to let Lamont and Josh start it off. Then I'm going to come on in. He didn't have to do that. So it takes players to understand their role and the sacrifices to make. Yeah. And that team right there was so good, they didn't care who scored, who made the play, and they held each other accountable.
Yeah.
You know, Kyle
Yeah.
Davis was on Billy Garrett one game about playing defense.
Yeah.
And he like, what? I said, listen, man, he want to win just as much as me.
Absolutely.
So I can't say nothing. But Marquis Williams was that point guard that brung everything together, and that's why we won.
So, Nick, let me ask you this question, and then Ty, I want you to piggyback on it and specifically talk about the year that you had AJ. But Nick, when talk about a point guard and being a good point guard, and Lou talked about Mike's point guard. What's a point guard? Because because people just want the ball in their hands. But like from your standpoint, and and all of y'all are players, coaches.
Right.
But what's a point guard?
Hey, KB, before Nick started talking, you picked the wrong person for that.
Well, I would say, Mr. Bailey. I would say, Mr. Bailey, and Tyrone. Mr. Bailey, I would say this, and Tyrone can attest to this. I probably was the best point guard out of Division III school that I ever seen. I'm not just saying that. I'm being real. Because I understand about a point guard because I wanted to make everybody around me better.
Break it down.
See, and that's the problem that most parents have. Now you 5'6", and you want your baby to score. Well, they cut the other Isaiah Thomas from the NBA because he just scored. He 5'8".
Right.
You got to pass.
Right.
No, when the last time you could think of any coach on the screen and tell me the last point guard in Chicago had 20 assists?
Right.
Name me one. It's hard to find. Like Trey was a point guard. I mean, just a real point guard. When I'm looking first, Chase was a point guard. I mean, those guys. AJ Russell was a point guard. Jamal McDowell was a point guard. A hell of a point guard. It's just people around you. When you make people around you better, you're a point guard. That's a point guard. Not looking to score, but every parent thinking that, well, my baby's supposed to score. Well, he's 5'6". He ain't gonna score in the league. He gotta pass the ball to James Harden. If not, he's gonna get cut.
But my thing for a point guard is this. I give my point guards freedom because at the end of the day, I want them to be unselfish as well. But if you give them the freedom to know they could shoot anytime to get ready, then they'll be unselfish. But if you just drilling in their head basketball, and then that ride home they telling you to do something else, then it's a problem. So that's why I let my guards just run crazy.
AJ Rumson for Ty in the day, but Derek, that's a whole nother subject. Trey with Mike and then Jamal for me.
But Lou, Ty pointed out Jelani Neely.
Yes.
Ty pointed that out. We just had this conversation.
Think about
we just had a conversation about point guards.
All those guys you name, and I'll tell you another one. He went to Marsh. He played with Darius now. The point guard that played with Darius and Stovall and them. That boy. Well, I don't know his name. Ladarius. They point guard.
Darius Simmons. AD.
Point guard. Point guard. Yeah. Those guys, along with AJ Ross, those guys made all the guys around them better. And think about it. All those guys are playing on the team, they was good, and they love their point guard. They love their point guard.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it go. Even Martell Bailey over at Hyde Park, Mr. Bailey, you coach.
But
that's the most important position.
Let's stop all that foolishness. You guys are sitting up here talking about passing the ball to somebody else, giving the best players the ball. That's not a point guard. You got to be able to break them down and shoot that thing, baby. We don't want you. What? So you're talking about you want me to come onto the floor and to make other people better? Is that what you're asking me to do? Oh, you're telling me that I need to come out and not shoot this thing because I got it? Is that what you're asking me to do? Come on, that's not. Oh no, I can't play for you. Why? Because you won't let me play my game. You won't let me play my game. You won't let me play my game.
That's you ain't got no game. I'm
like Martell,
Nah,
I can't.
Mine went crazy. I let mine go crazy, man.
So what Ty said, you won't let me play my game. And then Nick just mentioned it, and I know me and Rybat talked about it when he was on the show. That long ride home. Can y'all talk about that? I mean, because that and
well,
you know,
okay.
Ty didn't say it like he don't
well,
let his daughter like ride with
she
him
would-
if she
no. And she didn't want to ride with me. It wasn't I didn't let her. She could always ride, but she didn't want to ride with me because I'm not about to go in there and pat her up for things that she did bad. I tell people all the time, and all of us as coaches would say it, and we say it in a joking manner. It would be great if I could coach all orphans. So they just went to the house and went to bed, and they came back to practice the next day.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to go home and their girlfriends and their friends. And we
Yeah.
talked about this last week. Their trainers, all of them tell you how bad the coach is doing you.
Yeah.
He not playing you. You ought to be playing more.
Yeah.
You know, he tripping. He don't know what he's doing. Hey, I'll see you in the workout tomorrow, $75 an hour. We're going to get you right. We're going to get you right.
Ty,
I mean,
do me a favor. Ty, do me a favor. Do me a
yes,
favor.
sir, boss.
Name me 3 coaches, 3 trainers that played at a high level. Name me 3.
The GOAT, man.
Yeah, the GOAT did. The GOAT did.
Okay, you got 1. Give me the other 2.
Basil.
Come on, Bays ain't played for nobody. Now stop this, man. Come on. Come on.
He played from New York.
Guys, y'all not gonna get me in on that.
Hey, so
listen, wait,
wait.
Hold. I love Basil. Basil be telling me the same thing I told Basil. You ain't made nobody team. Now I know this. Now you ain't made nobody team. You're a good trainer, but you ain't made nobody team.
Okay, so now let's get back to the parents, you know, and as we starting to wind down, but getting back to the parents that are, you know, investing in trainers. So am I wasting their money, right? I consider myself and I consider y'all to be teachers, not even coaches, but it goes beyond being a coach, being a teacher. Coach is somebody that can just take talent and put them out there and run plays. That teacher is going to like show them the why, the when, the how. So what do y'all think is hurting our game right now, other than phones?
So we talked about this too. I mean, it's kind of crazy. This was our topic the other day. We're kind of skipping steps.
I love that.
Our lower kids are not getting what they need to get to be successful when they get to us.
Yeah.
You know, we need to put more emphasis on the fundamentals.
Yeah.
And I said it on the podcast the other day with me, Nick and Ty, is that I'm a little guilty of it too with my own son, with teaching him things that probably a little bit more advanced than him, that he needs to know right now when he needs to be mastering the fundamentals. You know, does that make sense? That he needs to master that stuff.
Absolutely.
Our older kids need to master that. It was some years ago. I had a kid who they said was he was supposed to be the #1 player in the freshman class. So he gets to the school and do stuff, and I said, "Okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to dribble the ball down with your left hand. And I want you to dribble it down back with your left hand. I want you to dribble down right hand. I want you to dribble back with your right hand." Well, he couldn't. He was left hand. He couldn't dribble with his right hand. So how could you be this good and you can't go the length of the court with your opposite hand? Yeah. There's no way you could be that good. So let's stop that. We're gonna get back to reality, and we're gonna work on your right hand to make you be this player that they say you are. You know,
you don't need to step back right now. You need to be the dribble with your right hand.
And like I say, I'm a little guilty of it too because LeBron got a good step back, but he can't make a left hand layup.
You got to think about this though. You coach the game, you teach the game, so you like, man, come on, man, let's work on this stuff. That's your son. You supposed to do that, man.
I mean, but still, he can't make a left hand layup, Nick.
All that's gonna come together, man.
But
he talking like a true scorer, boy. That nigga, boy, he talking like a true scorer. Don't worry about that left hand layup. You're not going in there no way. Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that yet.
Hey,
No, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Like I used to go to all Nick games out there at Cabo. It's crazy.
Yeah, he did.
Just shoot all the balls I had caught. You know, just shoot. I used to go to all Nick games. It was so crazy. Like me and Mr. Irvin is daddy. pie.
Yeah.
They don't know, most people don't know pie, but we, man, it's so funny that I can sit up here and talk to these guys about basketball, about winning state championships and stuff like that, and know how good these guys coach and watching their programs, and not want to, be in their footstep, wants to be better than them. I want to, look at my body at work and say, you know what, we can play the Simeons, we can play Whitney, we can play Morgan Park, we can play Curie, we can play schools like that. I mean, you want to quote those guys, and you can look around and say, because think about it, Simeon ain't going to play Gage Park. Whitney Young ain't going nowhere south. They ain't, unless they're on the bus going down 57.
Stop it.
Nick don't come to the west side. Rob, he'll bypass me and go to Fenwick, but he ain't gonna stop over there. He'll look at me and keep going. Now Nick and Mike, they're gonna come, but Ty, he's not coming nowhere near south of Roosevelt.
I love the west side. I'm gonna come to the west side,
dog. Rob came to my gym. We did a little scrimmaging, and it was sold out for scrimmage. He's been back since. And we had Jabari. So, but again, and other thing too, I like the way it used to be. You go play each team 2 times. Like I like that. If I could play Tyrone 3 times, he come to Oral 3 times. Oh my God. Oh my God.
That's a good payday, dude.
Leave that alone. Now. Leave that alone. But yeah, it's all in fun though, man. I'm happy that I can enjoy, doing this COVID situation. Glad we can have laughters and most people come in on the show. We show that we have done some good things and some good people that's around us. So it just goes to show that our body of work is not in vain.
Right.
And to the people that's shouting out to us and not saying that we're the best coaches, because we still got unbelievable coaches out there. Goody, Donnie Kersey, Tone of Uplift. I mean, the list can go on and on and on, man. Harvard at Corliss, I'm sure he'll have you guys on at some point. We just pointing out, but we're talking for everybody because everybody got the same struggles that I know of. When you go to Whitney Young.
Well, you know what, Lou? We used to always say, me, you, AJ, and TJ, and we used to have our, coffee talks in the morning. We've all been at each other's practices without being there.
Yeah.
Because we all dealing with the same kid. Yeah. And for us to be able to identify that, but so many people think that all of us are in the coaching business. We really in the people business.
And you're a counselor too, Mr. Bailey. You're a counselor. We don't get paid counseling money.
You're in the people business.
Yeah,
you got to know how to deal with people in order to get the best out of your players. All of y'all have had players. Some are chiming in. Some will see it later that'll run through a wall for y'all. And they don't do that if y'all don't care about them as people. Does that make sense?
Yes. I have learned over the course of time, even with being a dean, I've got some stuff from Rob from being a dean. I got some stuff from being Mr. Baylor's being a dean, some stuff from TJ as being a dean. Just learning, not even just basketball, learning how to deal with every individual is different. And that's even on the basketball court. Everybody's a different, some kids in the morning time, just to say hi means a lot.
Yeah.
You probably look at it like it's so far-fetched, but it's really not. Especially with my kids at my school. Hugging somebody and saying, hi, how you doing? How's your day? Have a good day. You had breakfast. Mm-hmm. All that play a part in in our life, in our daily situation, and our jobs. So I'm glad that I've been able to help some people along the way, and hope somebody can help my kids along the way. If something ever happened to me.
Absolutely. Ty, let me ask you this question, and Rob kind of broke it down, but if you can tell the story, because at this point, we all believe that Chicago basketball is really the Mecca, not New York, but Chicago is that place. If you can win here, if you can make it here, you should be able to make it anywhere. But can you talk about what brought about the Chicago Elite Classic? Can you tell that story?
Well, I mean, really, I'll give you the short version. We were both in West Virginia. Something had happened in Chicago. Rob, I came down to breakfast. We were in the cafeteria, and I told him, I said I hadn't heard what had taken place. I said, but I'm gonna call I didn't have any service. I said, this is crazy. Here we are in West Virginia at a basketball tournament, and there's no service. It was a great hotel, but it was in the boondocks, away off the beaten path. And I said to Rob, I said, shoot, we ought to do this in Chicago. We need to bring this to Chicago and let the people in Chicago see the things that we see, and they'll have a different appreciation for what we're seeing. So we kind of made a kind of a joking bond. We said, whichever one of us loses first in the playoffs, you start calling the teams, and the other one will go on and do whatever you are doing in the state playoffs. Needless to say, I lost in the playoffs first. So we start reaching out to some of our friends across the country. Yeah. And we said to them, we called DeMatha. We said, hey, would you like to come to Chicago and play? They said, yeah. We called Marta Day. We say, hey, would you like to come to Chicago and play? They said, yeah, we'll come for you guys. We had been going to different things that they had and playing with them in different events. Yeah. So we wound up getting this tremendous group of teams that were coming to Chicago. And we got back, and by this time, Rob, I think, had won the state championship. And we get back together, and I say, Rob, I've got these teams, and we can get these teams from Chicago. We said, well, great. We got a great lineup. Yeah. And then Rob said to me, he said, where are we going to get the money from? I said, oh, shoot. Oh, that is another part of it, huh? Right. We have to try to come up with the money. So we actually went to some of our parents. At that time, he had a couple of parents that got involved. I had 3 parents that got involved. And we just started planning it. We started going around talking to different businesses, and we went and talked to the mayor. Rob got us in. We went and sat with the mayor. At that time, it was Rahm Emanuel. We got a meeting. We go in his office. We sit down. We say, this is what we're going to do. He said, hold on, guys. What do we need? We said we need, I think, $50,000, $70,000. He said, okay, thanks. I appreciate it. We're going to get to work on it. And from there, like I said, we had Sylvia, Miss White, Rob. I can't think of the 2 parents that Rob had. And then we had Marlon, Dr. Everett. All of those people just kind of came together. And from that point on, it's just been something 10 years. It's going on 9 years this year. Yeah. That when we started, everyone kind of said that it's not going to make it. It won't last. You all think, it has been 9 years going. It has been a labor of love. It's been a labor of love. I know Lou is getting ready to say something.
Yeah, I just want to stop. Well, let me just chime in. I got to stop you, Ty. I got to stop you. I got to stop you. Rob, I'm glad we're all on the same panel, because it's something I would like. Come back, Ty. Don't go wrong. I would like to know. I would like to know what's the criteria that you have to meet to enter the Elite Classic, or what team? I like to know the criteria that you got to meet to be in the Elite Classic.
And there really is no criteria from a standpoint of criteria. And I think a lot of times people get confused and they say, oh, this team is good. There are a lot of good teams. And unfortunately, we can't have everybody every year. Got it. And sometimes sometimes they're about matchups. Sometimes they're about, what our sponsors want from us. And again, we talked about that. We talked about it. We'll talk about that offline. We won't go into that. I do know one thing, though. I do know one thing. Go ahead. You want me to call you after this? Or you want me? You don't call me after this, because my AirPods are dead. But you can call me when you get to Mississippi and you start fishing.
I would think. I would think. I'm glad you and Rob together.
Let me say this. Hey, this is great. And this is what we wanted when we started the Elite Classic. Yeah. We wanted guys to be mad
fighting to get in.
That they can't get in.
But wait. We're not mad.
We're not party, and the people get there late, and the place is packed.
We're not
want to get in.
Hey Lou, you can get in. I'm gone now, dog. You can get in.
This is the thing, though. I would think, if a team, if a school win 3 state championships, there's no way you can tell me he can't come every year. He won state every year. It just ain't no way, unless something going on. I mean, you win state 3 years in a row. Then 1 year I played at 8:30 for y'all. Then 1 year, y'all the team.
Hey, Lou.
Let me finish, Nick. Nick, you going to college? Be quiet, Nick. You going to college? Nick, you going to college? Be quiet. You going to college?
Carvel, I thought you weren't going to set us up tonight.
Okay, we'll talk about offline.
Okay.
We'll talk about offline.
So, but the fact is, it's and this is the good thing about y'all. It can be a serious conversation without it being taken personally in a sense.
I
But
know it's past since 1985, man.
but-
Rob forever,
Hey,
man.
KB,
It is what it is, man.
Hey, KB, let me say this. Let me say this, Joe. Listen.
Y'all can't keep
All
all
four of these guys, they run great tournaments.
Absolutely.
I mean, shootouts.
Thank you, man.
Yep.
They run great.
Yep.
All four of them
Absolutely.
run great shootouts.
Yep.
You know, I played in every last one of them. So
Yep.
that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Everybody
Exactly.
come together as one and supporting each other.
Yeah.
And I think
Let me go back, Carvel.
You
to
hear
something
that,
I said
Ty?
earlier.
Ty,
Hold on,
we
I can't hear you, Mike.
Out the Team Rose Classic. We need you. Don't know where ain't been there.
Well, we can talk about it. We can talk about it. But let me say this, Carvel. It goes back to something that I had said earlier, and this will kind of sum it all up for Lou. Remember, we talked about fair and equal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lou,
Yeah. Ty, see, one thing about me, Ty, can I tell you something? One thing about Lou, I understand that, Ty. I understand.
It's fair and equal. And
Everybody gonna take the last shot. I understand.
So and you know, with the D Rose Classic, the
Team
breast
Rose,
cancer. What? Oh, okay. Team Rose, right? Team Rose Classic.
Team Rose, they have the best hospitality room. Because I haven't been to yours, Lou. I've never gotten to your hospitality room. So I've been to Team Rose. They feed.
That's because you never been to my event, Ty. That's probably why.
Every year, I come over to support you every year. I may not have been able to play, but I have come over to support you.
You on the road? You on the road? So this year I made it a week early. I'm gonna see if you're on the road again.
Oh my God! These
So
guys are too much.
we're
gonna be playing them Lou, next year, Lou.
So now, Lou, has the breast cancer, awareness thing, and and that's big. But I think that the opportunity is that all four of you guys, as Nick stated, want to showcase the great talent that's within not only the city of Chicago, but also the state of Illinois. And even though all of you all have went to other states and other places to play, but to be able to give back to home, so to speak, is more important. But with that said, let me ask you guys a question, and y'all can just choose either or. What's harder?
I'm out of that. I'm out of the tournament.
No. What's harder, Ty? Winning a city championship or a state championship, and why?
City.
Why?
City. Because I've never won it. I've only won it one time. That's why it's harder. But no, I think it's harder really because just like Lou and Mike were talking about how their kids are friends, they might be friends when the game is over, but they're not friends during the game. And because they're friends, they play whatever those games are. They know all their moves. They know all their plays. And what they don't want, and it's the same with Nick, with Rob. It's like me with Lou. It's like me with I don't want to lose to any of these guys on this program. I don't want to lose to any of them. I don't.
Yeah.
I can lose to a lot of people, but I do not want to lose to Rob. I don't want to lose to Nick. I don't want to lose to Mike. I don't want to lose to Lou. And that's the same. That's why it's so hard. That's why it's so hard, because it is an incredible fight. And again, I think the other part of it is, and we've talked about it, and it's the reason we keep talking, it's the reason we're on here, because these guys can coach. They can freaking coach.
Right.
And when they can coach, and then they get their kids you're talking about sky high. You go in and you play Nick Irvin's team. When your coach is sweating more than you, you know those kids are about to play hard. You know they're about to play hard. When you go over to Lou's gym and you playing Lou in a Final Four or Elite Eight game, and he's got that scowl on his face, he's got 6 men on the court, and then they get to call a timeout when you have the ball in half court, you know it's going to be hard to beat them people. You know it's going to be hard. It's just when you go and you play Mike Oliver in 4 overtimes, and a kid that you don't even know his name makes a shot to win the game, that's going to be hard. Why? Because all these kids want to win. They want to win, and they want to rep. And when it's all over, I've never had a negative encounter after the game with any of these guys. We, as coaches, we hug and we embrace, and we going about our business. But you know
when
what?
it's over, man. I mean, I ain't gonna. I call Mike and say, let's go hang out, or Rob, or let's go hang out. You know, when it's over, man, it's over. It's just a game. You know what I mean? Like we all want to win, man. I don't
never
want to
called
lose.
me to go to the den though after the game. I can.
Well,
They
Ty,
never
that's
called
one
me to
thing
go
I
to
do
the den
know.
after
I
the
do
game.
know, Ty. Like I said again, I never forget. I lost to Chicago State, and I just cried. I cried. I just cried. I cried to my lady. I just cried and cried. I was so hurt, and it wasn't the game. I lost to Tyrone. I lost to Tyrone.
Oh no,
Right.
it's
That's
tough.
that was the
KB,
thing.
man, to piggyback on what these guys say, that the friendship and the love we have, man, and all of us have been through our time in tribulation, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just to give the CPS peoples credit that a lot of people don't give us as coaches, black coaches, a lot of us black African American coaches. When I was going through my stuff, man, in January, man, I could count a lot of times, man. I'm thinking, who do I turn to?
Yeah.
Now, one time I called any one of these guys on the panel or some of my other colleagues and them, they didn't pick up the phone to try to help me in a situation I might have been in.
Yeah.
If you know, when I called Ty, Dr. Kenner came to our rescue. I called Lou, Nick, and when we were going downstate, man, I never forget my first year going downstate. Never been me and my sister coach on the phone with Ross Smith, like he finna go downstate that year. Matter of fact, he was downstate. And he said, I said, hey Rob, what do y'all do downstate? Our AD want us to rent us a bus, drop us off, come back to Chicago, and get us 3 days later. So I never been there. I was like, oh shit,
Right.
we downstate. We could go walk wherever we want to go. Rob said, well, when you win or lose, how you gonna practice the next day? You ain't got no transportation. Right. I never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he said, well, Mike, this is what they're gonna do, man. You got to be at that luncheon or that dinner. You know, Kirk Gibson and them is real. But see, if we didn't
Tell
have
Nick that, Mike. Tell Nick that.
right. I'm just saying, we don't have that type of friendship or guys that come to your rescue.
Yeah.
We've been lost, man. Yeah. No basketball. We ain't got a basketball or nothing.
Yeah.
We ain't got no practice site set up or nothing. But by him being there with the experience, he talked to my sister coach. He said, man, y'all gotta be a fool. Y'all gonna let y'all this a moment y'all never get back, and y'all gonna let somebody drop y'all off.
Yeah.
And PO and then come back and get y'all 3 days later, 2 days later.
I found out something, man. You know, as being Nick's friend for over 40 years, he go play Rob at Simeon. Nick go to Simeon. Nick get to the game at 4:30. Nick get there. Rob and play varsity first. Nick get there at 6. You know what? Nick just do that. We downstate. Everybody got slopped to practice. Nick won't be there at 1:15. Nick get there at 5:15.
So see, it's not something he just do on the battle of
But we gotta realize we the show.
Yeah.
But Carvel,
yeah, go ahead, Rob.
And that's stuff that people don't see.
Yeah.
You know, us helping each other out to make sure that we look good and do what we're supposed to do, because we know how it's gonna look at CPS if it's not done right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I always say that's nigga business.
Yeah.
Right. We have to make sure we taking care of each other to make sure that the whole is taken care of.
Absolutely.
Because if Nick don't show up, it's all of us didn't show up. It's CPS. It ain't Nick.
CPS.
It's
you didn't do that, Rob.
But
You didn't do that to help Mike for the people. You did that because that's your friend.
That's his friend.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Nobody got to know that. I'm gonna help my friend.
People, it's the fact to make him look good and make us look good.
Yeah,
because I don't want nobody stereotyping him or putting him in a situation. That's what happens. And they're not gonna say Curie.
Right.
They're gonna say CPS.
Yeah. But I called Mike, and the first thing I told Mike was during this time he's going through his ordeal. I said, listen, I don't want to know nothing about what happened, nothing. I call you to say, are you okay? I don't really know none of that. I call you, Mike, to say, hey, Mike, look, I'm here. We can still hang out. Are you okay? That's it. That's all. I'll call you later. Goodbye. That's it.
But you know what? You know what though, Lou? It and as Rob said, because like everybody don't know some of these inside stories, but even when you kind of went through your thing, and I was still in the building at that time but Rob was calling you, you know what I'm saying? Ty was calling you. It was to, because we don't want for one of our colleagues to be misrepresented in the press because that's how they're going to try to exploit us. And this is what, and Ty spoke about it earlier. I think Nick talked about it, but this is why the parents have to be educated also, because let's be honest, it's some adults that don't like these kids because of the success that they're getting by playing basketball. And a lot of kids don't understand that. So when they sitting in class or man, this teacher tripping or what, but you still got to do your job because it's going to make us all look bad because they looking, they looking to see, okay, what is Nick Irvin and his program going to do? What is Ty Slaughter and his program going to do? What does Rob Smith, his program do? What is Mike Oliver and his program going to do? What is Lou Adams and his program going to do? And because bad news spreads faster than good news,
yes, it
that's just what we do.
Good news,
So
good news ain't going nowhere.
So right. So we have to understand, in terms of just being able to educate. And so like what Mike was saying, Rob was educating him. Man, don't let them people drop you off in no bus. You know what I'm saying? And like back in the day, that's what Chicago State used to do with the conference tournament. They'd get them a ticket on like to get there, and their return ticket wasn't until the tournament was over. Well, they lost first round. You know what I'm saying? So now what they gonna do for the rest of this time? So, but I think what Rob was doing was just educating, and I think that that's what we all have to do. But now let me ask you guys this question: as well, Rob, city or state, which means more to you?
Well, if I got two answers. It used to be state.
Okay.
Because I was winning.
Okay.
So it was state. Now it's city because I'm winning. So here's my rationale. Because we already talked about it.
And I told him that the other day. He didn't
Here's my rationale.
until I told him the other day.
When we've only won after Derek, I'm gonna go after Derek. And the 4 times that we won the state championship, we only won city championship once. So Nick was winning the city championship. So in his press clippings, he was like, "Oh man, forget the state. The city is the hardest thing to win." I'm like, "I win state." Then he started winning state, and now city ain't nothing. So
That ain't nothing.
But of course, it's to me, I think it's the city championship just because you have to play these guys and some other guys that's really good.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's night in and night out. You're gonna get a game. It's not no games that you just know you're gonna go in. Maybe the first game, but after that, you're playing somebody who can beat you from that point on. And you don't. I mean, I was lucky enough to have to go last year over to Whitney Young and win. The year before last. Me and Ty talked about it, and you never want anything to happen to nobody, but me and Ty joked about it, and I think me and Nick joked about it as well with the Lincoln Park situation. I didn't want to have to go over to Lincoln Park and play Lincoln Park in Lincoln Park. I didn't want to do that. Right. That's something I did not want to do, and I would have had to do that if they would have, still been together because they were so good. Lou, I think me and Lou talked about this a while ago. I think he went over to Curie this year and had to play Curie at Curie. You just don't want to do those things in the city playoffs. Right. That's just something you don't want to have to do. I mean, of course, those guys, I don't really know how many. I mean, who wants to go and have to play Morgan Park inside of Morgan Park in a quarterfinal game? Right. Who wants? I mean, that's not an easy task to have to go do. You know what I'm saying? That's just not something you want to do. So I really think it's the city. Because of those teams. I mean, same thing with Bogan. I mean, Goody is not on here, but who wants to have to go play Bogan inside of Bogan
Absolutely.
in a quarterfinal game.
Who want to go to Farragut and play? Who gonna go play Wolf over there at Farragut?
That's what I'm saying.
Who
So
won't
I
play
would
Wolf?
say
Over
myself,
there.
I would say it'd be City for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I won how many? 4 or 5 of the last 6, so it got to be City. I don't know about that.
For me, Mr. Bailey, I think for me, Mr. Bailey, is wherever I lose at first. If I lose City, I'm going to State. If I lose State, I'm going to City. So it don't matter to me. I just want to win one of them.
So,
we can raise our hand.
So who's won both the same year?
Nobody.
Me.
Rob did 1 year.
Rob?
Didn't you?
You did it 1 year.
I did it 3 times.
2012.
I did it 3 times. 2 with
Not
Derek.
not under the new
Derek
format.
won City and State, and with the new format, just 1 year in 2012.
I
it.
could
Who you
have
beat
won
in
it with Derrick Rose.
2012, Rob?
Huh?
Who you beat that
I
year?
could have won it with Derrick Rose.
Yeah. Sure, you can. You could have.
Hey, you beat me that year, Rob.
In 2012.
2012.
Yeah. 2012 is the only time I did it with the new format.
I told you.
Well, no, Derek them was just the new format too. So 3 times with them, but recently just with Derek them.
So now, let me ask you a question. And Nick, I think you might be the only one that can't answer this question, but what was the biggest learning difference for you guys? Your first trip downstate compared to your first trip winning state?
I think all of us wanted our first time down, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
Maybe Lou, did you win at your first time down?
No, I lost to
took
Nick
care
Irvin.
of Smitty.
Oh, my bad. Nick. My bad.
There's a lot of distractions.
So all of us, KB, all of us besides Lou, so he could probably be the one. Because all of us wanted our first time down.
Okay.
Go ahead, Adams.
Out of the crew, who's the last one to win state? Out of this group on panel, who's the last one to win state?
You.
That wasn't a question, Lou.
I don't want nobody to talk no more then.
So, Lou, what was the biggest learning difference? And I mean, obviously that's when Nick had Billy and Kyle and them, and
Charlie.
Other than you having a suit on, which I think was a learning difference too. But what was the biggest learning difference from your first time going as opposed to your first time winning?
The first time going, I think talking to Rob was poor preparation. We just didn't prepare, for the game.
Okay.
I think that, talking to Rob before the game, after the game, and Tyrone, I talked to Tyrone a little bit. We weren't prepared, and that was all on me. So I took that. I took that. We lost. I told my team, "This is me. This is on me."
What you mean poor preparation, Lou?
Timing, taking the phones, practicing while I'm down there. They give you a practice, but I didn't know you can get the practice with them, but then you can go again and practice again. You really get your real practice in.
Okay.
See, the first practice is just for show.
For the media,
for the media and all that.
Yeah.
But that's not practice. I left there and went straight to the hotel, and it was, just what it was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I had to learn on my own. Like, okay, so now I got to make sure that we prepare right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His poor preparation prevents his poor performance. I understood that. I knew that. Now, on the other side, I won because I was prepared from losing. And I think also, too, for me, and probably these guys, in order to be a good winner, you got to be a good loser.
Absolutely.
You take something from your loss, and you instill that in your win. And sometimes a loss is a good loss, and sometimes a win is not a good win, but I'll take it. And I say along the way, again, I had so many people around me, when I lost, to pick me up, because that's tough when you get all the way down state and you can't win. That's mental, but when you get a chance to reach the pinnacle, reach the top, you feel good about the steps that you did before to get there. So those losses prepared me. Those talks prepared me, and we was good.
Lou, when you hit something right on the head with those, every win is not a good win, because
break that down, Rob.
when Taylor and them was seniors, we won in the sectionals. We should have lost to Brother Rice and we should have lost to Marist. We should have lost both of those games. And me telling them we're not playing the way we need to play to win the state championship right now. We're winning games, but we're not playing well enough to win the state championship.
Yeah.
And now you're dealing with some guys who've been winning, that did win, and they like, man, what are you talking about? We won. But I'm like, this team that we just played, that's not the win we should have had.
Right.
So then we go into the Young game, which we had beat them about at least a month before that, with that same mindset that we can just go out there and win because we had been winning, and they end up beating us. And when we got in the locker room, one of the kids said, we should have lost to Marist. I said, no, we should have lost to Brother Rice.
Mm-hmm.
And then we wouldn't even get in this predicament because we didn't play well enough to even beat them teams. We got what I said before. We got lucky.
Yeah.
You don't play a Brother Rice team and they up 6 or 7 points in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes left, and then you win by 4 or 5 points. That just don't happen.
Yeah.
That's not a typical the way they play. When they were still shooting the ball, I'm saying to myself, something got to be wrong. And then we come back and win. But like you said, Lou, those wins actually, I mean, it's no more games after that, but that hurt us because we thought we could just come on the court and be able to win just because we had won some other games. And then we played a team that was just as good as us with just as much talent as we had and thought we was going to be able to do those same things. And they came out and made some big plays and won the game. So that what you say is true. Sometimes those losses do help.
Yeah.
Rob, that was my fault, man. I could take the blame for that, Coach. You shouldn't have been playing when you're young. You should have been playing, period.
I mean, these guys won't ever give me credit.
You shouldn't have been playing. This guy drawing up one of the best plays I ever seen in my life. But that was my fault, Coach. The person I had out there, the people I had out there shouldn't have been out there. So I'm going to take that. That's my loss, Rob, Coach. He shouldn't even been playing.
I go back to and I was just watching the other night. And I just think about all the good players we didn't play with Derek and Cliff and Nick had Marcus Levette and Ty had Jaleel. And I just think about how good those teams were. Those good boys going on to play professional basketball. I was watching Morgan Park and we ended up beating Morgan Park with Marcus Levette. This guy was so good, even on the film, looked like they won. I was scared. I know we won. I was wondering when we gonna finally win. I'm watching the film, I'm like,
where the game go in, huh?
And that, you know what, Lou, and that's funny you say that, because whenever I go back and watch games, like I tell people, whenever I'm depressed, I put on the state championship game that I won so I can get happy again. But even in that, you're still sitting there like worried going down the stretch, even though you know the outcome. Yeah. But you still, it's still so real to you. It's just real to you. And I tell people, the first time I went downstate, I think the thing that helped us was the way we had traveled so much that year. So it was like being on the road again. It was just like being on the road again. And for me, and my kids will always tell you, I am probably like the biggest stickler on the road. I dialed that thing all the way down to almost nothing, almost like boot camp. And that actually, I think, saved us ultimately when we went downstate the first time. And then the other part was, like I said, I had good coaches. I had good coaches. I go back to the coaches that I had that had us prepared to play the game that next day. And you know, it's like many people say, Rob said it, and then Lou kind of said it too, as goes back to the thing that my friend told me. I learned more from my losses than I have from my victories. And that is just something that I think about all the time. It kind of guides me. And I think Robin said something earlier, and this is something I'll say to all the young coaches out there and all of the older coaches that's never won a state championship. Anytime you have a chance to win one, you better win it. Because if you do it,
it's hard to get back.
Them 5 games, let me tell you that, them 5 games, them the longest 4 quarters you will ever play in your life. It seems like it's they never gonna end, man. But you know,
The championship game, Lou.
yes, man, there's super section, of reason. Those are the longest 5 games just to get out. You know, I run the quarters every year, and I love how God bless Hall. Hall remind me of Detroit Pistons and the Bulls. He got to win one. But I told him I'd much rather be the team that won 4 than lost 4.
Lou, Hall can't beat you, huh?
I ain't gonna say that. He working as we speak. He is the workingest guy I know.
Hey, Lou, and
working right now.
And Harvey is on, but I remember I was in the building that day, and I came to see you and TJ, and you was like, Mr. Bailey, man, we got callers tonight, and I'm like, where? He like at home. And I'm like, okay, y'all at home. He was like, no, man. He was like, no, you don't understand. We got callers. But now let you know, as we are wrapping it up, but I want to ask y'all this question in terms of dealing with officials, right? You know, and I think that, you know, with Mike being an official,
Mr. Bailey,
obviously we'll have
Mr. Bailey. When you got on this show, you asked us to say what we don't want to talk about. That was one thing I didn't get a chance to talk about.
You didn't say that. So, but now, you know, people always say, you know, because Mike is an official, he understands, and you know, but as Ty said earlier, talking about gamesmanship, and I don't know how I didn't get one of Nick for the ad for this show. But I just want to show y'all some pictures, and I want y'all to walk us through this moment, like what's taking place right now, and is it the officials or not? So I'm gonna share my screen. So, Rob, tell us about this picture, man. Are you talking to your team or the officials?
I'm talking to my team. We in Pontiac. I'm telling somebody to get back, I think.
Okay.
We just scored a basket.
Okay.
Somebody probably celebrating.
Okay. Mike, right here.
He talking to an official. I can answer that.
I think that's Pontiac too, Rob. Yeah.
That's a or.
That's an or.
That's an or.
Yeah.
Oh, I would tell the official, hey man, you ain't got to worry about it. I'm from the west side. I'll get you out. We're not even from around on the west side. I'll get you out of there.
Take that one off the screen.
No, let's
tell us about this one.
Talk about this picture. Let's talk about this picture. This is one of my favorite pictures of all time, KB. I cannot believe you have it. What I'm telling these guys is, get back. We got one play, and we're gonna beat Rob. Just tell them. That's what I'm telling right there.
All right, now, and I didn't get one of Lou or Nick, but Lou, walk us through this one.
Hey, what the fuck you call?
Is that the Marvin game?
Hey, man, I'm not gonna call no names. I'm just asking, man, what the fuck you call, man? I don't know what ref that was, but I don't know who it was.
Okay, now,
let's say something, Mr. Bailey. Can I say something?
Yep, go ahead.
You have done an incredible job with your show. This is some good stuff, man. I appreciate being on your show. You got some good footage of us. It's a good panel. You did a really good job with this. I appreciate you.
I appreciate it, man. Just, you know, doing my best again to, and I'm in more teaching consultant mode. And, I just like to one, be able to tell the truth, but also be able to, not that I was lying in the past, but be able to say things that people need to hear, but also be able to bring people on that are doing it the right way. But now let me ask y'all this question. What do these pictures mean to you? And I'm gonna start here, Nick. And I think that we all know, but can you break down this picture?
Well, that's when my father passed away, and I promised him I win 3 state championships. So that was the first one. We dedicated the season to him, and everybody got close to him on my team that year, and we put everything into it. We want to win the state championships, but the city championship didn't really matter at that time. But
great answer, Nick. Great answer.
Yeah, because Smitty playing them two all the time, so I wasn't really into the city.
That was right on time, Nick.
This was a dedication to my father and everything, and them tears of joy right there. Like I finally did it. I kept my word to him and everything.
Yeah, love that.
Great picture, man. Great picture.
Yeah,
great picture.
Nick, Lou, tell us about this picture here.
That picture to me meant a lot because we defeated the odds, man. Nobody thought, or who would ever thought, win, back-to-back state championships. We did it with a group of guys that we came in with. That was Brian and Ty and Ray and Danny and Emmanuel and that group. And then we had to chase the next year, but that was a special group for us. Those guys was friends, and first got together. We seen the vision. I saw the vision when Ray and those guys came, and that was mean that we had finished our journey. That was good for us.
And to see where them guys had came from. We talk about Emmanuel and Ty and all that.
Go back to that guy, Mr. Bailey.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question, Lou. And people don't understand the back and forth that it used to be, and it's hard. I think, and I my son is 3, but I think it's hard coaching your kid. And me and you, I had conversations with Lou in my office. I had conversations with you in my office. I had conversations with both of y'all because it was difficult. And as you said, you didn't want to just give. Go ahead.
How the other picture you see me looking at the referee, Mr. Bailey, on the other picture. Yeah. That's how I'm looking at Lou. It's the same thing I'm applying to Lou to the official. Exact same words.
What you just called, huh?
Yeah. You gonna run any play tonight, or you just gonna do you?
Any play. Now, let me get to this one, Mike. What do this picture mean to you?
Redemption. Redemption. Because all these guys, man, who's on this film right here was freshies or sophomores in 2014. And they all had an opportunity. They could have left Curie and transferred to anywhere and been eligible to play right away. But they went down to the white division with us, won the white, came back up to the red, had a tough loss against Kenwood in the semifinals at the Quest, but went downstate. See, people don't know when we played this game downstate and won it, we was down like 13 to 15 points against Bennett, and they trusted and believed that this was destiny and that we was here for redemption. And when we won that, man, I was so happy, not just for me, but just for the whole community who stood by us and knew that we had some real good kids in this program. Because that was huge right there.
Yeah, Mr. Bailey too. Let me go right back real quick. Like Mike, I went through the same thing with Ray and them. I got in trouble, got suspended. Those guys had a chance to go anywhere in the city they wanted to go. They would have been good. But those guys elected to stay with me, man, and we brought it on back again.
Yeah. Ty and Rob, I want y'all break this picture down.
Rob.
Man, why all these cameras in my face?
That's us and what we put together, basically.
Okay, yeah, that's what it looked like. Yeah.
That's us of our, like, when we, like Ty said earlier, when we first started that, people was like, how y'all gonna run something together?
Yeah.
This ain't gonna work that long. Y'all just faking it, and sitting right there together. I must have just got done playing. But that's a great picture there. And that's just great testimony to our staff that worked with us, and then us too, for what we do for the city of Chicago.
Yeah, I love it. Now, break this one down for me, Rob.
Pros, and pros. There you go.
That was a good group of guys right there.
Damn
that
good.
That was a good group of guys right there. We had a great year, with them guys. That was we hadn't even won the fourth one yet. That's the third one right there, I think. So it just, I mean, Ty said it. Them guys they were really good, and they were focused, and they understood what we were trying to do, and that was huge. But the next one you got on there is the one I want to talk about.
This one?
No, go to the next one. Next end.
Right here.
Go to the last one. No.
Oh.
Keep going. Are you going backwards? Or are you going?
No. I know which one you talking about. You talking about this one?
There y'all go.
Can we keep going? Let's keep going.
That's my new background time, Nick.
Man,
Ty.
That's a nice background, though. I ain't
Hey, it's a good one. Ty, can you break down this picture? And then I'm gonna tell you what I think. But can you break this picture down?
I don't even know where we were with this picture, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I have no idea what that is.
And so me looking at it goes back to what y'all was saying earlier. It's the difference in teams and programs, right? Your program, you're the head coach of Whitney Young program, but by you being on the outside of this huddle, it represents to me like it's their team. Does that make sense?
Well, it's always going to be their team. Those guys, like I said, the coaches, all those coaches on there are smarter than me. I'm just kind of along for the ride. I mean, I look at some guys on there that, all these coaches, they talk about the players that they've had, and guys, they're not any pros on there per se, but there are some really good players. Xavier, there's Tyler Beard, who was at that time a sophomore. You've got, Craig, who's playing and doing well, a kid who sacrificed so much of his game when he came to Whitney Young from Foreman. He went from being a big-time scorer to a guy that just did all the little things that we needed to do, a guy that was a glue guy. I look at Justin Bowen, who was an intricate part in our coaching staff, who went on to become the head coach at Kenwood. And there's Jonathan, like I said, a young man that gives so much of the program that actually connects me to what's going on in the world today. And his relationships with the players is unlike anything. And it was just a great group of guys that love playing, and I just love coaching them. And I'm almost sure that team went on to win a state championship, beating Simeon in the state championship game, if I'm not mistaken.
Hey, Ty, I got a question, man. Is that Jonathan with that blonde hair, man?
We do not talk about that. Let's keep going.
Okay, all right. You can't have nobody on the staff doing that, man.
Hey, so one of my last questions is, as coaches, what drives y'all nuts?
You say it again?
From your players or just
as coaches, what drives you nuts?
Talking back.
Be done very fast. People that are not on time. That's why Nick and I would never get along. I like people that are on time. I cannot stand players that are late. That is an incredible pet peeve of mine.
Okay.
Well, mine is real quick. A person who don't want to be successful.
Oh. Okay. I love that.
That's a good one, Mike. That's a good one. Yeah. I mean, what kind of mine is when you preparing, and then guys come and do something total opposite, and then you prepare for. I have a saying all the time to the kids, like, I'm finna give you all of the answers.
Yeah.
Please don't put the wrong thing down. This answer is A. Don't go put B down there, because B ain't right. It's just not right. So that's my thing, because we work so hard and we prepare the kids, to be successful on the court and all those type of things. So you definitely want guys to follow the game plan. I think Ty talked about that earlier, about following the game plan. And that's my biggest thing. But KB, just again, thanks for having us all on.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Me, like I say, me, Ty, and Lou been on. Mike was on the thing with us. We going me, Ty, and Nick been on. Mike was on with us. We're gonna get Lou on there. We just want to be spearheading, what's going on. Me, Ty, we talked about it before. If you look at that screen right now, we the oldest statements in the game right now.
Yeah.
When you kind of look at the screen, some more guys that's out there, but it's not many more. And then Nick then left us. So, I mean, it's up for us to help the young guys and get them, on the same level, or try to get them to this level that we at and be successful. And Mike and Lou and kind of Ty too, them guys took schools and made them into programs. You know what I'm saying? They took a school and made it to a program. I was already given a program. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot different. So guys should look at their success and say that I can do that too at some other places, and don't think that they have to be at these schools to be successful.
Yeah.
Because Mike took a Curies, like he said, it was a football and baseball school. Lou took Orr, which was just, a school at the time. And then Tyrone, Whitney Young was Whitney Young, but he didn't make it into this national program. And then Nick did the same thing at Morgan Park. Yeah. But we want young guys to understand that they had this same opportunity to be able to do that, at some other places. But it's going to take some hard work and dedication. And they shouldn't be afraid to reach out to none of us for help. A lot of times I think that be it. Like, they look at us like we're not gonna help them, and that's not the case. I know everybody on this screen will definitely help anybody who's trying to, get to that point in the coaching aspect, or just trying to figure it out on what it's gonna take to win or get downstate. So, thanks for having us. I'm pretty sure all these guys got something to do, like I do now.
That's a great point.
Hey,
I'm
Mr.
about to,
Mr. Bailey, I was going to ask you, Mr. Bailey. You must be paying by the hour.
Hey, no, you know what?
First of all, we're out of town, Mr. Bailey.
I
got a fishing trip coming up, man.
Hey, Lou, look, you gonna go and catch all the fish that you want.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna bring you some back, man.
At any point in time, man, y'all can leave. Could have left, and we done.
It was good, man.
I'm pretty sure, and I always say, right, this is more than just a basketball show. It's a developmental show, professional as well as personal. And I think that all of us, the people that's watching, listening, and all of us here have learned more, not only about each other, but learn more to become better leaders, better.
And we want to say before we close out, Ms. Bailey, I want to just say to all the people that lost and COVID that lost someone, we praying for you. We hope that you get better, your family get better, and stay safe.
Absolutely.
I wanted to say something. I want to say two things real quick. One, and this is an announcement, and we've actually been talking about it with another group of guys. We're actually looking to start a Black Coaches Association, not just for CPS, but across the state of Illinois. A Black Coaches Association for us, because some of the things that we deal with as coaches are dramatically different than what they deal with in the IBCA and the rest of those things. There's some things that are indigenous to us. And the last thing I'm going to say, I am going to be sitting by the computer waiting on my singular invite to get on this program. I mean, I am devastated that I cannot get a single invite by myself.
I got to get your email, Ty. I got to get your email. Send me your email, and I got you. We can definitely do it. Now, and one, big ups to Nick. Nick is moving on, to west of Illinois. Big ups to him. One, congratulations, Nick. You are definitely, deserving of it. And I hope that everybody gives you the same support as they were giving you when you was at Morgan Park. That's what I hope.
I love you guys. I don't want to interrupt, but I gotta go. I'm going fishing in the morning, Mr. Bailey.
Lou actually got his food truck going on. So y'all going to get
I got it painted. I got it done. I'm so excited. When I get back, I'm gonna come by you guys' school and
bring some of that catfish fillet back, man.
Hey, Nicholas, you already got it, man. I'll talk to you guys later, man.
Yep. All right, Lou, we appreciate you. And, Rob's wife, she got the tutoring service going on. These guys do more than just coach the game of basketball. So, with that being said, I definitely, appreciate you guys for spending this time on, Ty. I'm going to definitely get with you so we can get you on, Nick. If we can find the times, I know that you're doing your rounds, to get you on, definitely, and, for everybody in closing, Thais, right? The doors to the church are now open, right? But definitely everything that we talked about tonight, right? Just basketball concepts. That's, everything that they talked about is this: understanding life through the game of basketball, being able to teach it and teach it the right way. So, I dropped the link once the, show is over, the way you can purchase this book as well as my second book, Creating the Perfect Storm, more of a mental edge, how you put yourself in that mental capacity. If it's sitting in the classroom, on the court, whatever it may be, the same way we go in class, in schools, and talk to the students or talk to the teachers, the coaches. But you have to be to put yourself in the mental mind state. Said like Nick shot all the balls, but he was in that mental mind state to where he was going to make them. But what did he do to put himself in that mind state? So that's what this book talks about, as well as you get a couple seasons of this show. I'll drop that link in there as well. But definitely, guys, from me to you, Rob, and I'm going to say this publicly, I thank you for calling me. I thank you for calling me and asking me would I be, would I even mind doing this? At times you think you get a huge panel and maybe it won't work, but I think that this was great. We was able to, be able to help teach, and just from me to you to have, for you to reach out to me definitely means a whole lot. And Nick, Ty, and Rob does a show every Saturday. It's on YouTube. I think it's called 13 Rings. Definitely go support them and what they do. Keep on tuning in, to this show here. And I ain't gonna even put y'all in the hot seat, but as I say in closing, always strive for the top because it's crowded as hell at the bottom. Yes. So I appreciate y'all. Until next time, Nick, Ty, we'll get y'all on. Rob, Mike, y'all already know. I hope everybody have a good evening. Talk to y'all later. Yes, sir.
All right.
Peace.
Good night.
Thanks.
Take care.